Why start now? What's up, everybody? We are live, and if you're watching this later on, then we're not. So fucking get over it. Um, this is, me. Every once in a while, I like to do a random fucking get together of a bunch of cool people. This time, I got stuck with these people. That's all right. we're gonna have a fucking great time. We're gonna talk about Kickstarter books and whatever else is there. I don't know. I know. I think most of you guys were on Kickstarter, but we might have some Indiegogos or some people in Diamond along the way tonight. I have no idea what we're going to see or how long this is going to go for. I just know that everything is going to go to shit at some point, and that's the fun part.
Yeah.
So, right. So I'm going to set this up, make sure that it's working, so that we can see everybody's. We can see the chat. We can see what people are talking about. So let's edit that audience. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, cool. We got Brian Manel's in the house. What's going on, dude? Good to see you. Trish is here. Hey, girl, what's up? Oh, we got somebody else. Oh, Brett Giuliano is here. Bring him in. Sweet.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey there.
We already have almost a full group. I'll start this up, and then we'll go around the room and start introducing ourselves and what we're talking about today. So, without too many more adieus, let's do this fucking holy fuck today. Wow, this is going to be a great fucking show. I can feel it. What the fuck is even going on? All right, bam.
Canadian bacon is actually really good, and it's nothing like normal bacon, and it's better than ham, which you guys seem to call Canadian bacon. I'm very good at writing. I write very well. Yeah, it's Shop Talk.
Do some of your audience members like the word fuck? Cool. Then I'm going to keep saying fuck. Because I care.
Because
Holy
I care.
Did you guys actually see that whole thing? Because for me, it just kind of froze up.
No, I saw it.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You know, being the
Bacon.
it's ham. Let's just
You got too many people on. You're messing up your own computer. Can't handle it.
I know, right? That's my fault. Trish says we would come on, but we would just be there to chat. Oh, well, I appreciate it. If you guys have any background noise going on, maybe watch your speakers or whatever. Maybe mute yourself when you're not talking now and then. There we go. All right, cool. And then when you come on, so first off, everybody, sure you know, I'm Chuck. What the fuck's going on? Good to see all you guys. Thank you guys. Holy shit! What is up with my fucking stand today? Wow. This thing's a piece of shit. Let's see how this goes. There's too much A+ energy going on right now. Yes, you're absolutely right, Brian. Thank you. Yeah, Stone, I put the I think you messaged me. If you want in, dude, fucking the StreamYard link is in the original post. Go jump on and hop on and come hang out if you want. I'll be kicking people out and all that sort of stuff, but
the elimination chamber.
When you've had your time, you can fuck off. So first off, why don't we go around the room? We'll start with Paul. We'll go clockwise, and everybody can tell us tell us who you are, what you do, and then tell us a very quick pitch about your book.
Hi, guys. My name is Paul Gomez. I'm a brand new writer and creator. I've been doing it about 4 months. I've got 2 books out, PTSD, Bushy Boo Circus, and currently Cryptic Haze is on Kickstarter. And I hope to tell y'all more about it.
Right
Sweet.
on. I am John Westhoff. I am the publisher, letterer, writer for Part-Time Comics. And our current project that's on Kickstarter right now is Drumsticks of Doom, a heavy metal comic. What if Black Sabbath, not the Beatles, became the most popular band in the world, and the universe would be changed musically and otherwise? I also have another book I'll shamelessly plug too with Mr. Chuck Pino Grigio, which I'll hopefully talk about later, which is here in my hand and printed. I'm very excited. It printed very well, and hopefully get to talk about that in a little bit.
Mary's Mary is great, and she's super impressed by you there, Paul.
Nice.
Right.
My name is Edgar, and I am the writer-creator of Amerikaiju, and it is a story about a 5-year-old monster hunter that's battling mythical American monsters. So things like the Chupacabras and Momo, Jersey Devil, all kinds of cool stuff that we're throwing in to battle against our 5-year-old hero. And we have the campaign up right now. We have comics, digital, physical, and I even have some toys that I made for the campaign as well. These are roto vinyl figures, so they're kind of like rubber ducky material.
Sweet.
Yeah, thank you.
Morgan.
Good day, everyone. Morgan Quaid from Australia. I'm here to talk about Shadow's Daughter, which is that one there. 6 issues, about 340 odd pages. It's a sort of urban fantasy, kick-ass, female lead, shadowmancy, all that sort of wonderful stuff. 3 variants already unlocked. That's it. That's me.
Sweet. Evan?
Hey, everybody. I'm Evan Quiring. I am the writer, penciler, inker, letterer for a new comic book series called Murder City Devil, which is follows the adventures of Spring-Heeled Jack in the 21st century. Although he's not called Spring-Heeled Jack anymore, he's called Murder City Devil. So it's just like a horror crime comic. I'm also the writer and penciler and inker and letterer on Lucha Mystery, which is a series going on. It's about luchadors basically running around in the 1960s San Diego fighting monsters and like vampire chicks and all that good stuff. And so I'm about 3 issues in on that. And it's all these titles are published by Scattered Comics and in Sacramento, although I am in I'm freezing my ass off right now in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. So there you go.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, I know, right? That's why I'm drinking. What do you think?
Caleb.
Hey, what's up, Chuck? I'm Caleb Tucson. I'm about to launch my, I think it's the 17th Kickstarter. So it's called the Neverland. It's a new series, 5-part series about a kid who's growing up during the pandemic and kind of forced to grow up a little early when his mom gets sick, and he escapes to Neverland to kind of find that it's like this dark, desolate place, and has to figure out what's going on and ultimately go on a quest to kind of try to figure out a way to bring it back to what it was. And I'm really excited about it. I feel like it's like a culmination of all the stuff I've been working on for the past 6 years. So been trying to build up steam for the launch on the 1st. So
Brett Giuliano.
Hey, I'm Brett Giuliano. I'm the creator of the Dust Bunny Mafia, which is a newspaper-style webcomic that's like Looney Tunes meets The Godfather. And on Sunday, I'm dropping my newest volume of Based on a True Story, which is a series of different comic strips based on real-life mobster stories. And this will be the Kickstarter for the 4th volume.
Sweet. Oh, we already lost one. Braden.
Hey guys, my name's Braden Cox. I've written things such as Reclaiming Godhood and Sever was my latest Kickstarter, and I'm here to talk about It Was Nobody, and that's going to be my next 24-page one-shot, and it's about a young boy named Cody who is living in a really abusive household, and his parents are drug addicts, and he's tried to get help and is not able to get help, and then he ends up befriending a monster called Nobody.
That is freaking cool.
Hold on. Let me see if I can. If it'll let me share my screen, I can show everyone the cover because I don't have the physical books yet. Oh, here we go. Will it let me do that? Oh,
probably not because we're full.
Oh yeah.
But at some time tonight, We'll try to make that happen.
Yeah, I'm still working on the Kickstarter. I'm hoping to launch middle of March. I'm shooting for either March 10th or March 15th. And the book's 100% done. It's ready to be printed and sent out to everybody.
But before we move on, because we do have one more person to talk to, I believe. Yeah, it's just Stone who hasn't been introduced, right?
Right.
Yep. That's
Okay.
right, Chuck. What's up, Chuck?
So Stone, do your intro, and then I want to go back to Braden real quick, because this is an interesting topic that I'd like to hear what you guys jump in on. Go ahead, Stone.
Heck yeah. What's up, guys? Good evening. Stone Abdullah. I'm the guy behind Dread the Shadow Darkness Falls. Woo! Hell yeah. Got that, bringing that sexy voice out tonight for no reason. Literally no reason. But we got Darkness Falls is my second novel in my sci-fi installation, and it's Commander Sumisu's 19 years old, and they're trying to stop an evil from coming back on Earth, but there's a new evil that catches the Sanzai clan off guard, and knives of doubt carve into him, and bodies are piling up, so he's got to rely on the strength of several phenomenal extraterrestrial women, and if he cannot, my friends, darkness will fall upon the universe. That is Journey of the Shadow, Darkness Falls. Now on Kickstarter, we got like 38 hours left on it or something. I don't know. I don't keep up with that stuff.
You might want to.
I might want to.
It's important to know when that thing's done. What's up, Bambi? Good to see you, hon. Braden, do you mind if I bring up what you mentioned to me earlier today?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So Braden was looking ahead, and I think we've all probably been here at some point, or maybe we haven't because we're brand new and we don't even know the other things that are going on. But Braden was saying to me, dude, you're planning on dropping in March, right? March or April? Braden?
Yeah, so I was thinking about dropping in about March, middle of March, but I was thinking about putting it off until May. Yeah, I was thinking about putting it off until April.
Okay.
Just because I saw like there's like so many campaigns going on next month that I just
So that's something I would like you guys to weigh in on before we go into everybody's campaigns and such. There's so much, dude. As someone who I'm a Kickstarter fan. Like I get all my comics pretty much from Kickstarter. I watch people's numbers. I watch their backer counts. I'm interested in all that shit. I really am excited. You're always kind of seeing, how people are working, what they're doing, all that kind of stuff. So I'm interested in you guys. Do you worry about the competition, who you're up against? Or are you just like
Sure.
Yeah.
I think I had a not successful campaign late last year, and I do feel like I got swallowed up by some bigger projects and that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of people are putting out their passion. You see how many people are on here. You've been watching Chuck's show for a couple of years. Now I've never seen a crowd like this. So everybody's really putting it out there. So Braden, it's probably not going to change in April. It's probably not going to change in May. You're probably not going to
get worse.
And in actuality, part of why campaigns thrive is because we are all supporting each other. So you get in the mix like you've done for my campaign, and sharing stuff and reposting my link, and I'll do the same for you, and really we thrive off each other. So you don't want to be one of only 4 people on Kickstarter. I've been there 10 years ago when nobody was on Kickstarter. You want to be on there with other people who are gonna share and hype you up and stuff like that. So right. I don't know, but your campaign is yours. So
with everything happening in DC and supposedly that some of the people might be doing their own stuff, it's probably going to get worse in the field of Kickstarter and crowdfunding campaign. You have great campaigns that don't get funded, like Depowered right here. I was telling him before the show that was one of the only few that I backed because I don't have that much money to back too many. And I was surprised that it didn't, meet its goal, because I thought it was such a great concept.
Yeah, I could only echo the thoughts that you guys have, because there's always something new on the horizon. There's always going to be a bigger, better thing out there, right? And for me, I don't even look at that because it would scare me off. I would never have posted because there's so much amazing stuff out there, right? And if I keep comparing myself, man, I mean, you just need to come out of the shell at some point and do it. But
if I may, don't ever just keep going. You know, don't. With all due respect to some of you guys, we're all doing great work. Don't ever stop. Don't ever. You know, it's nice to look at other things, but don't let that intimidate me. It encourages me. You know what I mean? So all you guys, like, it's encouraging. Keep going. It's comics. It's supposed to be fun. You know, so don't ever worry. Don't worry about what the other guys is doing. With all due respect, don't worry what everyone's doing. Worry about just make the best product you can do. And you know, if it works. It works.
And one
great.
of the things,
you know.
One of the things is ask for help if you need it. I know Edgar's running his American Kaiju, and I think it's a great campaign as well. And I even offered to him to use the PDF of my last book on his campaign if he wanted to. And it's one of those things. I've been helped so much. I want to help other people as well, especially in the community, because, you know, if I need them, I'm definitely going to ask for help. So why wouldn't I help other people out?
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is make sure that the dates that you choose make sense for you. Before you choose, you know, because somebody else is doing XYZ, like if there's a specific date that goes with your comic, you know, if it's like a May 1 as opposed to the March 3rd or 4th or, you know, whatever, pick dates that work for you. That's the biggest thing, you know?
Yeah, and I fully agree with you guys there. I think there's always, unless you're like a Brian Polito or something like that, there's always going to be a bigger fucking fish. So you just kind of got to go, fuck it, I'm diving in.
Yeah. You also got to bring your own people to the table. And honestly, like, you want the other campaigns there because they're bringing people to Kickstarter that might not come here for another reason.
Yeah.
And you want to reach out to as many people that, you know, if your campaign aligns with some other genre, that there's like 20 other projects, that's actually potentially a good thing because you reach out to those people and you can cross promote throughout your campaign and get your stuff seen by a lot more people. So I used to have the mindset that like people are taking away from my campaign, but after doing it 16 times, like you just realize that's not, you just can't think like that. You just have to bring your people to the table, do your best to promote up. Like if you want to push it back a month, to give yourself a month to like get more followers to that page so that when you launch, you have 100 people ready to go.
That seems to be more important, like the
that's
pre-game build up.
So
then how many are on? I mean, obviously, if there's a time where, you know, there's 10,000 projects on Kickstarter, you know, we'll all be talking differently. But now, you know, it seems like, I mean, the right time is when you have enough. And again, you'll bring your own, you know, that you're starting to build your audience. You've got your people who support you. So you're doing the right thing with each step.
Well, and to speak to his book, when I went up to Seattle, Braden lives not too far from there, and Braden and I are good buddies. So, and I worked on his last book, Sever. So he's like, "Hey, man, can I bring you a stack of books?" And I was like, "Yeah, man." Like he was amazing. He brought me a bunch of comps, and I had bought some covers too. So I was super excited. And I think you gave me like 10 of the regular covers, and then a good chunk of the other ones.
I think I gave you 10 of the base, and then 5 of each variant.
Yeah. And so I ended up, I mean, that was Saturday night. So I only had one day to try to sell them, which was no big deal. I was like, whatever I don't sell, I'll just bring on to the next show. So I get in there. Right away, I don't know why, but I found what I felt to be a really fucking good pitch for that book. I started pitching it, and I sold out of the regular cover. I didn't even save one for me. The regular cover got completely sold out. I was like, "Oh shit! Okay, I guess I'm not making extra money on the variants because I'm not going to try to sell them for extra now that these poor people have no access to the originals." So yeah, man, you're doing good shit. People like it. So I think just don't worry about timing. You know, as long as the timing kind of works for your book, just
get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, make it happen. And you have too many projects coming up to hold anything back, man. You gotta.
I know. Yeah.
You and I have several other projects that we're working on together that need to get out. So just get it out there. But let's move on because I want to. I literally I got a thing on here I've never seen before, and that is somebody else is trying to get in. If you want the professional, I was like, I'm not buying the professional package. You already got my $100 a year. You're not getting any more StreamYard. So
yeah, you're not getting no
right. Yeah, exactly. So why don't we? Because Stone, you only have like a day and a half. Why don't we talk about yours first and get that one taken care of so you can show it off and get people excited about it?
Okay, yeah, no problem. And thanks, Chuck. I've and I opened the windows like 49 hours. I'm like, okay, all right, now I'm being professional. It's no, I got you know what I mean. I was just like, yeah, there's some hours left, but like I said, when Darkness Falls, the campaign, this is unique. I want to piggyback off of what Caleb said earlier. That, you know, if you put something out there, don't worry about this is not about competition or us versus them and this other type of thing. I thought about that being a novelist. I'm a novelist. I'm not a graphic novelist. I'm not a comic guy. I've been a novelist for like 20 something odd years. And so I was like, well, you know, people don't typically, you know, hop on Kickstarter or whatever to try to find a novel. I said, but don't worry about that. Give it a shot. You never know who's out there looking for it. And when you know it, people were just like, oh, well, this is pretty neat. It blew me away. So I just wanted to, you know, capitalize off it. Just go ahead and give it a shot. So go ahead.
It helps because I put a novel on Kickstarter a year ago too. And I have to say, it helps an awful lot when your cover has fucking hot covers from things like Shikari and shit. Like, holy fuck, dude.
It fucking helps. I mean, for God's sakes, I'm going to say it. The man, he did a magnificent job illustrating all of the characters. Like these at the top here are the goddesses, and at the bottom, no spoilers, there's a princess here and there's a lieutenant, but they're all characters out of the book. And I said, well, you know what? You take a look at what other people are doing. I said, well, how is this? What's the visual aspect behind your literary medium? And I was like, well, let's see, you know, why not Shikari? And then boom. All of a sudden, it grabbed people's interest, but then they started looking at the Journey of the Shadow story as a whole. And I was like, all right, so now I'm touching a market base that would not have considered otherwise, you know? So that's sort of thinking into your project. And it doesn't matter the time of year. Just go ahead and fucking get it done, kick the door down. But in terms of Darkness Falls, we've got, oh man, I don't know, about 10 tiers on there. And you got one that you get a signed book. You get signed books for me, and there's no additional cost because we're not pricks, right? We don't charge like, oh, I'm this other person. You're gonna have to get $10 extra if you want to get it. Like, nah, fuck that. You want to give this stuff to people, right? Because that's the overall point. And we designed these campaigns, and we call them fan-centered or fan-engineered, where the deeper you go in the campaign, the more immersed that you get into the. Oh God, it's Steph Wilson. It's just everyone act normal. But the further you go in the campaign, the more immersed that you get in the story. And so one thing I did with the campaign was get posters, because back in the day when you were growing up, you had Kiss posters, Van Halen, Women and Children First. I'm like, who didn't have that poster? Mm-hmm. I did, you know. And your favorite movie, Jurassic Park, Back to the Future. I was just like, man, every time you woke up, you had your someone you looked up to. And you had that on your wall, and it was littered with your favorite bands. I said, why can't I do that for Journey of the Shadow? That's how I feel about the story. So I said, well, let's take this to the people. Maybe the people enjoy it. And then all of a sudden, boom, people appreciated it. So I was like, okay, I know the shipping is outrageous when you go to the printing company and they'll be like, you want to print what? 22 by 28 inch what? Okay, buddy. You know what I mean? It's your funeral, and UPS says the same thing. But I say, this is, you know, that's the way it is. But you say, okay, well, there's a cost to everything, but I'm not going to let that stop me from providing this to the people who, you know, might enjoy this IP. So as you go up in the Darkness Falls Kickstarter, you start seeing more and more. What's up, Sammy, Bobby, B-Boys? What's up? You start seeing more posters. The safe for work versions are all there. Oh God, facts, Steph, facts. But you get, you know, there's naughty versions and etc. But you also get the 5x7 inch prints of the exclusive Shikari artwork, just in case. You'd be like, well, I've got, you know, other things. I got a family, so I can't really have like the ladies with the. I mean, they're really hot, and the titties look really great, but I just can't have that in the living room. I'm like, well, no problem. No problem. We got the 5x7 prints where you can just slide in the book and put it in your dresser or whatever. But that's sort of a variety we provide, or yours truly provide in the campaign. But the big part I wanted to mention was that we crushed one of the backer goals, which you guys get a free 2x6 bookmark, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, Darkness Falls is a big ass book. It's 175,000 words. It's a lot of words, no pictures. So long form writing is much like yours truly, long-winded, but it works. You go back in the bushes, Steph. But since it's 175,000 words or whatever, how many pages? I think 600. We get you a free bookmark. You get a bookmarker, and everyone gets something for free. You get free shit. That's how you want to reward the audience or whoever. They didn't know anything about, like, half the people that backed it. They're not familiar with the fan base, right? So you want to offer them something to bring them in and be like, wow, this is actually pretty fucking cool. So I've got a tier where you can get both volume 1, the first book, and you can get Darkness Falls signed if that's all you want. If you want to slap on like a poster as an add-on, yeah, all the Safe for Work posters are add-ons, and you can design your pledge however you want. And so I wanted to give that sort of freedom. And this is my first Kickstarter, right? And I said, well, let's just give this. I'm totally giving this a shot. One, being a novelist, because in the writing community on either platform, they're just like, Kindle Direct Publishing, and spend $1,500 a month on Kindle Direct ads. I'm just like, God, you're throwing so much money down the drain. Don't you want to reach people? Don't you want to, why don't we try something different? So this is yours truly trying something different, because the people are out there. They want to see stuff. This is why we're all here. We're all here to, we're not here to burden ourselves. Well, the first thing you want to do is give the person the material. So all this stuff is discounted. Yeah, I want you all to have fun with it. And that's another thing that Evan said earlier. It's about us having fun. You hop on the Kickstarter, have fun with it. And I think people will with Darkness Falls.
Yeah. Good man. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. He's just sharing up the show. Yeah, and anybody else out there, share it out. The more people who see this, the more backers we can get for all these people. And I'm really hoping that we see a bunch of little spikes tonight. I have none of my personal projects. I do have projects that I'm a part of. Obviously, I worked with Paul on his Cryptic Haze. I've got Cat Dad and Supermom. If anyone wants to throw up something for Cat Dad and Supermom, that would be great too. So yeah, I got things going on, but it's not about me. I just love doing these big shows and being able to help people out. And, sometimes a friend will come and say, hey man, I know, because my show is booked until well into April, almost May now, the regular interview show. And so people will come to me and they'll be like, can we do a show? And I'm like, well, let's just do a panel show. Let's get, let's help people out. Let's get a bunch of you guys in here. So that's what's going on. Does anyone have any? Oh, see, there we go. Thank you. Another one that's edited by me. You're right. I do like
that tweet I can't spell.
I'll edit it afterwards, homie. Chuck likes easy panel shows. It's true. That way, if I have someone like Steph Wilson on, I only have to talk to him for a little while. Hear his smart ass bullshit.
Oh, good job.
But does anybody have any questions for Stone about his book or about what he's done or anything like that?
Are you interested in comics? I do see you. I thank you. You've liked many of my posts, and I see you in other groups posting. Are you into comics? Because I see you around the scene.
Yeah, I am. There's just I'm a late bloomer when it comes down to comics, because I spent a long time and in research academia, way too much of my life. Okay. But so when I finally got an opportunity to say, okay, well, fuck all that, let's just go ahead and just start this Journey to the Shadow stuff, I was just like, ooh, now I can get into comics. And then I discovered all you guys. I was like, ooh, this looks great. Into the Suck. And I was like, Nebula Pearl. And there's all these other great ideas and IPs. I'm like, this is great. So there's my God, how many did I back? There's 20. I budgeted for it. But there's so many. You guys are doing so much great shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, I've got time to read it and get to know everybody and siphon your knowledge of being in the comic industry, etc. And learning what you guys are doing and learning from your ideas and your approaches and methodologies. But I've got It's not on camera, but there's like 2 bookshelves already from just indie comics because it's great. There's a lot of great. I gotta preach it. Indie comics has, I think, the best material. If you want to disagree with yours truly, fine. But I think the indie creators and the creatives, this is a new wave that's going to wash over, and I think we need it. So to answer your question, oh yeah, I'm a late bloomer, but I fucking love what you guys do. I dropped the F-bomb again, but I fucking love it.
No, fucking bring it on.
It's cool.
That's great. Steph says you can budget for Belial. It comes out every 2 years. It's coming out this year, motherfucker. Get your circles ready. Get your stencils ready, because you're going to be doing a cover for me, bitch.
But the bigger is better, y'all. Just the bigger the better we can heal society. Okay. We can ease the tensions in Ukraine.
Right. Does anybody else have any comments for Stone before we move on?
Yeah, people calm the hell down if they read more comics. I'm just saying, it's good escapism. That's all.
And well, I have a quick question suggestion. I don't know how expensive it would get, but do you have like alternate covers for your novel?
Yeah. For Darkness Falls, we got the one cover, but then after the Kickstarter, there will be like 2 like additional editions. You got second edition and first edition, whatever. So this is the first edition, and we've got 2 covers planned. One is from the non-sequential artist ISAP. So guys, look out for that. And then there'll be a 3rd edition. So that will be planned. So that's for like boosting Darkness Falls later on this year. You guys keep your eyes peeled. That's a great question. Yeah, that's
Nice.
in the works, my friend. Thank you for your question. Appreciate it. What did you say, Steph? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm keeping an eye on it because he's a troublemaker.
He's a massive troublemaker.
Who? Me?
That guy's an issue. Steph.
Oh.
Yeah, but the big titty drawer, the guy, you can't miss it. I mean, they're in your face. Like I said, don't make me repeat it. Hashtag titties first. Can we get that in chat? I'll put it in chat. Let's see. Titties first. Bang. There we go. All right.
Wendy says, poor Evan has a winged mic for head. I promise you, when it's time for him to talk, I'll move him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Steph's meek. Yeah, sure you are. Okay, cool. We heard about that one. Edgar, you have a book for us to tell us about, right?
Yeah. Actually, this is so I have a campaign going right now. This is my second campaign in the comic genre, and this is about Amerikaiju. And Amerikaiju, this is one of the alternate covers, one of the many alternate covers. I love the homage covers and stuff, but good chance to show it off. There we go. So this is just one of the many covers that I have, and Amerikaiju is about a 5-year-old monster hunter. There's a little guy here, if I can aim. And he's a 5-year-old monster hunter that has to deal with mythical American monsters. So the name, as the name implies, Amerikaiju, he is dealing with kaiju of the Americas. So like Momo and the Jersey Devil, Chupacabras. He's dealing with all those monsters, and basically the story is all based around a question that my son and I came up with. Thanks, Kevin. Can a 5-year-old battle these mythical American monsters and still have time for a nap? And we have a lot of kid humor, and it's a very family friendly, fun, kind of out of place in this crowd, I think. But it's definitely a fun read, especially because, like, for me, I read it along with my son, who's now 7, but he's the one that inspired this whole thing. So it's mostly about like father-son relationship, and kind of lessons that I want to impart on him, but all about monsters, really.
What's the age range for that book?
So it's actually written. I would equate it to like think of like a little older version of like SpongeBob, where there's adult humor in there, not like too adult, but there's adult-ish humor, but kids can still read it. The language is still fairly safe.
So it's kind of like a DreamWorks movie where they have like enough jokes for adults to understand, but it's good enough
Right.
for like kids to enjoy.
Right. Yeah, and it's really more about like, you know, the humor comes into play with things that the 5-year-old doesn't understand. For instance, there's a point where he's, you know, they're talking to him, one of his mentors, and he says, you know, he got bloodthirsty, and he's like, oh, why would he drink blood? Right. So there's little humor like that. That's like, you know, kind of whatever. But, you know, there a lot of it is basically targeted for like, can you read this to your kid or with your kid? You can read it on your own and still have fun, because at the end of the day, it's like, for me, what drew me to comics was the cool artwork, you know, the epic fights and stuff like that. So for me, I tend to focus on the monster designs and making the fights look as epic as I can.
You got some awesome toys that you brought in.
Yeah. I can actually share some of the.
Yeah, show us the toys.
There's one little guy that
Those are awesome.
This is our main character, our hero, and then if you'll give me 2 seconds, I can actually shove this out of the way and pull out. And then here's the big guy.
Oh man! Wow. Holy
and he's
shit.
made to scale with these guys. This guy's about 8 inches tall, and he's, you know, I have a giant head, but he's actually a little bigger than me. And basically, this guy's one of our drivers. We're doing a really cool sale with him coming up. You know, we actually started one with Kevin at Inked, and we sold out, thank goodness. But those guys are, you know, these guys are really cool. 11 points of articulation. As I mentioned earlier, he's a full roto vinyl figure, so it's not like you know, resin or 3D printed, you know, which I respect a lot. But these are production quality pieces.
Real quick, Stone, can you? Darkness Falls is the second book, right?
That's
okay.
correct.
Yeah. So you got it on there. Okay, yeah. Can they pick up Volume 1 on the Volume 2 Kickstarter?
That's correct. You've got that's the second tier. In fact, call it Sansai Specialist. You can get both of them signed by yours truly, and I think it's like $50, something like that. Yeah, you can get both of them and just get immersed into the story. Just be prepared. It's all words. It's all words. It's Steph Wilson. It's all words. Okay.
Oh, he ain't gonna read.
But you've got all this pretty stuff to look at. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, immersion, bro. Immersion.
He'll put it on his bookshelf so he looks smart.
That's what I would do. Anybody who's in chat, all you wonderful people watching, repost that link again for America. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I can't believe how many days ago did you launch? We got to get some more backers for this. This needs to be funded here.
Yeah. I think that goes back to what you were talking about with building an audience beforehand. I you know, I've jumped into this a couple times now where it's like, you know, I have to build it up. I barely have a couple hundred folks behind me on social, so I'm trying to do more of these shows to let people know about it, because it's definitely one of those where, you know, people have to hear about it at the very least to you know, throw it away or you know, hopefully join in. So thanks for sharing.
Sweet.
I think you're muted, Paul.
Who's muted?
And to see all the variety of monsters and creatures that you came up with, this is what they need to see, because this is a great project as well. You have so many of them, just different ones to share.
Yeah,
Agreed.
And that's actually precisely why I reached out to Kevin. I mean, you guys are, you know, familiar with Kevin now and with Inked, but I draw pretty pictures. You know, I sculpt. That, you know, that's my thing. I'll sculpt, you know, the hell out of something. I'll draw, but you know, when it comes down to marketing, you know, that's where I'm like, it's all foreign to me. You know, I don't want to deal with that. So you know, for this time around, I definitely reached out to Kevin and said, you know, hey, can you know, work your magic here and help me out, because I need the help, obviously.
Sorry, I'm just putting up some information for everybody in the private chat.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, because someone's trying to enter, so I put some up there. Cool. That's amazing. Anybody else have any questions for Edgar about his cool project? Amerikaiju. Oh, you just got one more backer.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
Edgar, what was your inspiration, behind the designs for the figurines? Because they're gorgeous. What was your inspiration, man?
Thank you. So, spite more than anything else.
Spite.
It's a really long story, but the short version is I was at a convention sculpting, and some people walked up and were like, Americans can't make kaiju, and then they just walked away. And I, being who I am, I was livid. I wanted to chase them down, but my buddy was like, nah, forget about it. And then I channeled that energy, that all that, like, spite that it turned into, and I started drawing a bunch of monsters and stuff. More like, it was more like, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and it turned into like that's what my my entire feed was for, like, a good month or so before I moved on to another project. But I came up with a name because of that conversation, and then after that, it was basically I just did a bunch of research because I thought I knew about these monsters, but like, I didn't know the Jersey Devil, for instance, was a real, like, a thing, like a lore. I thought it was just the mascot for the hockey team, right? So my buddy was like, dude, what are you talking about? And from there, I just dove headfirst into every web page that there is, and images that are out there, library books that are like old and crusty, and I pulled off every account that I could pull for each of these monsters, and I just kind of did a my own version of what I felt would look coolest for these guys. So what you see there is basically the stuff that I've designed. It's basically my version of that monster, and it's not exactly like a standardized version. So
that's awesome.
Thank you.
I love that, man. I love the concept. And you took something that was a negative, right? And you literally reformed it into something that's creative. You know what I mean? That's why we do this stuff right here. Just amen. I love it.
And the way you worked with your son to put together this book, it's a great story. If nobody's heard it, everybody should back this. Yep. If not for $1, go out and get one of these toys, because they're beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm the other thing too. If you can't afford it, I know it's not easy. I try and spread the love as much as I can, but we're all strapped, and I get that 100%. So if you're strapped, and if you can't do much, hit the share button, hit a like button, make a comment, because that helps me. I know now from Kevin and all of my good friends here that get even a like or a comment on those posts helps other people see it. Other people that might otherwise have maybe $2-3. So I think for everybody, I know I try and do that now. Now that I know, I'm cool with sharing, I'm cool with liking, commenting and stuff. So I think at the very least, if you guys can't do that, help us out by commenting, sharing, liking, doing all that magic that you guys do, because I don't understand it.
One of my favorite go-to moves in helping people, especially if I like the person, but maybe like I can't afford the book at the time, or maybe the book's just not for me, but I'm excited about the project. Back it for $1, because when you back it for $1, everyone who follows you on Kickstarter will get the notification. And basically what you're doing is you're spending $1 to create an ad that will go out to all of your followers, and they'll go, oh, cool, this dude likes what this person's doing. Why don't I go check it out? And that stuff really does work, and it helps a lot. So, even $1 is a big help. Just make sure you actually pay for that $1, because I had someone put in $1 and then back out, and I'm like, fuck you cheap fuck. What the fuck? Yeah, you cheap fucker. Come on.
Cheap bastard.
Back out.
Shit.
Yeah, I understand if you back for $1 and then your credit card doesn't put it through, motherfucker, you need that $1. We're good. But if you back out, fuck you. I wanted the backer.
I did that once, Chuck.
I'm gonna do that on every one of Chuck's campaigns now.
I'm gonna do it for every last one of Chuck's.
Love.
I was trying not to call you out, Edgar. I was trying not to call you out, but I had to be said.
Don't be
use
a
the
dollar
new credit
dick.
card.
Don't be a dollar dick.
Just be, at least if you're not going to be a dollar dick, be a $2 whore. That's my, that's my. Hey, today, this year, we've got our midterms, right? That's my campaign slogan. Support your local strippers. Be a $2 whore. Support your local meme dealers. You know how many voters I would get on that shit. I'm just saying, be a $2 whore for Kickstarter. Be a $2 whore.
So, okay. Does anyone have any more questions for Edgar before we move on to Morgan next?
I'm assuming we can find you
I want
on
to say
social
one
media.
thing. I think he should reach out to more people that are running kids things and try to do some cross promotion while he still has time, because I went through this. I ran my Super Cats campaigns. They're kids books. They're made for like 1 to 5 year olds, and it was like rebuilding an audience for me. So you're not necessarily going to get as many of the same people that we're getting, but if you kind of have to reach out to people that have projects that are all ages or similar, and just kind of see if they'll scratch your back, and you can share out stuff for them and just do what you can do, because you can get there. Your goal is not extremely high or anything, so like you can get there. So, but it's just keep grinding at it, keep doing these things as best you can. You'll get
You
there.
guys heard it here first from Kevin. I am him, and he'll back you. Edgar, actually, I have a Kickstarter that's all ages right now too. So tomorrow, hit me up and we'll do some cross promotion.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, John's gone now, so I don't think we can ask his question. Was there anyone who had to go?
I just want to say to Stone, shit. Hey, Stone. Wait, hold on. I want to say this for Stone. $2.
$2. $2, Bob. $2.
$2.
Actual retail price. Oh,
this is serious.
appreciate it, guys.
Comics.
Yeah, we're serious.
I could probably take off and give you some room to bring somebody else on.
Yep, same.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate you guys coming on, and we appreciate you guys in the chat too. So feel free to keep hitting us with questions, and yeah, certainly if you want to stick around and keep bugging the rest of these assholes, I'm sure they'd love that.
All right, thanks everyone. I appreciate your help.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Bye, Stone.
Thank you.
You guys.
Bye, guys.
And so for the rest of you, if because I know Kira wanted in, if there's anyone else who wants in, pop on in. We'll just keep rotating. Morgan, you wanted to talk about yours next.
Hello. Yes. Thank you very much. So, Shadow's Daughter, which is that's one of the covers. That's one of the covers from an earlier campaign.
Oh, let's make this up.
Sorry. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's 6 books in the campaign, 2 that are part of the main sort of story, and then 6 spin-off issues that are black and white. So 2 color and then 4 black and white. Story is essentially a demon moon rises at a certain point, and then sort of freezes, and the earth gets sort of broken up, and all this sort of stuff happens. And all of these latent abilities, so like vampires, werewolves, all that sort of stuff, starts to come out. And a certain portion of the population starts to exhibit these abilities, like sort of magical abilities, that sort of stuff. And one of them is this chick called Summer Rain, who is a shadowmancer. Incredibly rare gift. She can bend shadow, use it as a physical force, all that sort of stuff. And she's essentially a bounty hunter that spends her time going around and bringing in parole violators and those sorts of people, but of this kind of remade part of society that's... a little bit freakish and a little bit hellish and all of that sort of stuff. So really cool story. It's my second campaign for Shadow's Daughter. It's about my 5th campaign on the Kickstarter. Lots of fun. 3 variant covers that have been unlocked now. Some really cool artists. Some really cool fans as well. Hey, you like the Aussie accent? Because to me, it just sounds like a flat mess. There's just no depth. I'd prefer to go American, but then I have to speak very slowly to get the accent right, and then I'm going to just insult everyone on the panel, so we won't do that. and I can't do Scottish, otherwise I would. Yeah. So it's a really cool story. It's my first attempt to sort of go into manga style storytelling. Thank you. Yes, it's going well. It's going really well. So I've never done manga before. I've just done the traditional sort of, and I'm the writer, so I say I've never done anything. I'm not the artist, but I work with a lot of artists, obviously. But yeah, really good fun. I actually have a competition. You might be able to tell from the background, I do a lot of music stuff. That's something I can do. So I've got a competition running at the moment for the next day. Anyone that backs any level of the campaign, or $1 or $2 or whatever, goes into the running to win their own theme tune. So 2-minute theme tune, fully produced, all of that sort of stuff, whatever style you want. You can use it for your YouTube channel. You can use it to bug your parents. I don't know, whatever you want to use it for. But everyone goes into the running for that theme tune, and that'll be announced tomorrow, which is, I don't even know what day it is. Saturday for me, Friday for you guys, something like that. I'll tell you what the future looks like. But essentially that's the campaign. Loads of fun, lots of giveaways coming as well. And that's it.
What time is it there for you, Morgan?
It's almost 2 in the afternoon. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting a bit tired. It's been a long day. It's been a super long day, and I'm, the price we pay for this sort of thing,
Right. Most of us, this is the end of our day right now. Like for me, it's almost 10. So yeah.
Can you drop the link in the StreamYard chat so I can share it?
Yeah, sure. Kevin, are you still there? Because I don't know how to drive.
Speaking of Kevin, he actually is here.
Hey.
Oh, hey there.
Hey, Kevin. Hey.
I'm actually not in the studio for a change. And if you get too much feedback, I can always drop in earplugs. So let me.
Oh, there we go, Morgan. Good job. And actually, we do have 2 new people, so let's get them to introduce themselves real quick. Kira, can you tell us real quick about yourself and what you do? And then Kevin, same thing.
Hi, my name's Kira Burton. I like to call myself comic adjacent. What I do is mostly I write fiction and poetry, and my brother, who is a comic book artist, James Burton, he illustrates it for me. Yeah, so, and we're actually collaborating on a new comic project together this year, and I have a book coming out. Well, hopefully it'll be coming out this year. I have a lot of notes is what I have right now. And hopefully Chuck is still interested in editing that one. But so my fiction is very sort of unusual fantasy. It's not like high fantasy like elves or any of that kind of stuff. It's more like taking biblical mythology and turning it on its head. Like my new book is called The Brotherhood of St. Judas. So you can imagine kind of where that takes Christianity and uses the myths from the Bible and stuff like that, but turns them around so you can see it from a different point of view. And what the book is about is a community of individuals who commit atrocities in the name of making the world a better place, and what they do when one of their own turns against them.
That's awesome.
That's pretty much me.
Well, and you're not going to be able to say that you're comic adjacent for much longer, because you have a story in Cthulhu Invades Wonderland that's coming out, right?
I forgot about that, and James reminded me too.
Yeah.
I have a poem in Cthulhu versus Wonderland.
You're going to have to stop that shit and start telling people you're a comic book and novel writer.
Imposter syndrome, but what can I say?
All right. Kevin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, man?
Well, hello, everybody. And I love the ears. So
thank you. I didn't want to brush my hair.
Those are awesome. I'm actually not in the studio for a change. I'm just kind of chilling in the living room for a second and want to hop on and say hi to everybody. But my name's Kevin Guitt. I operate Ink Studios, and a lot of the crew that's here, Paul Gomez, Morgan, and then Edgar just left, and then Chuck, they're all part of the Inked family. And we help each other in many ways. We get the word out there. And then the studio itself does promotion for Kickstarters, and we came off a phenomenal year. It was incredible. We did over 50 campaigns, and we're on pace right now to do the 75th campaign probably around March. So you'll see the road to 75 coming out pretty soon, and we're just psyched that everybody's getting a chance to hear more about us, see what we do, and we're happy to help promote other artists. Myself, I've been a professional artist since I was 16, and I just love being able to reach out and see a lot of other campaigns grow, a lot of artists grow. Last year it was 12, or we just made the 12th new creator to the team that was able to fund and get in the comic business, and we're hoping to bring that many and more this year. So happy to be part of the group over here.
Awesome. Sorry. Now we're gonna go back to Morgan. We're gonna do that yo-yo thing. That's you, mate. Oh, I'm such a douche. I'm sorry. I'm sure everyone knows that. I apologize. I jumped onto that fucking pool so quick. I apologize.
Goddamn Canadians. Good, they were in Canada.
He's got the coolest setup behind him ever, and
he does
the coolest accent to go with it. So I mean, and his hat's way better than mine.
Come on, dude. Seriously though, my accent is anyway.
So, does anybody have any questions for Morgan and what he's doing right now?
I guess my only question is, how is the scene over there in Australia? Are you finding you're having to ship to a lot of us Americans over here? How does the distribution go?
Yeah, so distribution was a mistake I made when I first started years ago. So get this, I had the comics printed in America, shipped to Australia, and then posted largely back to America. That was a genius campaign, and I made less than a profit on that one. So I learned my lesson pretty early. So I actually have a US-based printer now and an Aussie printer, so I can kind of cut down the postage and just not have that huge hassle. I'm trying to spread the word with other Aussie writers and artists, though, because not enough of us are doing that, and it just kills the postage and the time and everything. It's just ridiculous. Because we're in the other hemisphere, it's just, I don't know, something weird goes on with the postage. So yeah, trying to get the word out there about that. The other thing though is Kickstarter's great, because when am I going to get in front of an American audience? Go back 10 years or so. What other medium have I got to get in front of people? To see that sort of stuff. So yeah, so it's great. But yeah.
So you're doing a theme for a raffle off on part of the Kickstarter. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, I'm always looking for things to add to the campaign that are cheap and doable, but of a lot of benefit to someone that might really like it. So I've done the odd T-shirt giveaway and those sorts of things, but this time around I wanted to do something a little bit more personal and special. So I thought, yep, I'll give away a theme song that people could use because there are a lot of obviously creators that back our campaigns. So some of them might think, great, I've got a new, comic coming out, and if I had a theme song for it, I could just marry them all together and do some cool stuff. Or some people just, like the idea of having something like that. It's something I can produce fairly quickly and easily, but not a lot of people can offer that. So yeah, so that's one thing, and then a few extra giveaways that are happening. I'm actually thinking of also doing an artist's. An artistic rendition of the main character that I do, which will be just terrible. I don't think you guys say. Do you say dog's balls over there?
Sounds good.
It means not good. It means it won't be good. So yeah, but I thought that's a quirky little thing. Not too many people are going to get me to draw something, and then they can have this horrible looking thing for themselves. Something different,
I like how Steph says shipping to 3 whole fans in Canada is a beast. Steph, you don't do any fucking shipping. Your wife does all the work, so shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah, but he's still got to pay for it, probably.
That's true, right? That's true. Yeah, but he just signs whatever she puts in front of him. I'm sure he doesn't even know how much money is flying by. She could tell him how it's
not the problem. It's UK and everybody else now. Yeah,
oh, dude.
Australia. I have a
Canada's up there too, though, man. For being as close as it is,
but yeah, it's like $35.
Yeah.
I had to wait 3 months for my last Kickstarter to ship something to Australia because they were refusing to send it.
Wow.
without me paying $80 for it. So
Oh, forget it.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's
Why
nuts.
do it? Then why offer it? Like, if you can't ship it, then don't offer it. Like,
well,
I don't know.
at the
Yeah.
when
I
I
do
was
my
running the
Kickstarter and
campaign,
make sure if I say ships anywhere in the world, damn well, I'm going to ship anywhere in the world. I'm not going to back up I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, we can ship it. No, I'm not. Like, who does that? That's ridiculous.
It's funny because for Belial, when it came to the, after the second one was done, international shipping was just so fucking nuts. And Sean and I have talked about it. Like, do we want to just not offer international shipping? And then we realized, looking at both of our Kickstarters, we have this one person in Malta who has supported all of our Kickstarters so far. And I'm like, how can we not make sure that that one person in Malta, a country of like less than 500,000 people, how can we not make sure that they don't get their Belial? So it's like, I guess we're just going to take that one in the teeth, because you can't be like, all right, so we're shipping to North America and Malta. No.
Yeah, I've just increased the price.
Something interesting about the international stuff. I actually, for my new campaign, because I've had so many problems with the costs going up, that I just decided, okay, well, I'll provide international shipping, but it's going to be on my terms instead of Kickstarter, because I don't want it to be lumped in with my Kickstarter to goal, because it's going to screw everything up.
That's a problem
in the long run. So I put in for the Neverland, it's ships to US, and then I have a section in the campaign that talks to international backers specifically, and it tells them, if you would like any of these rewards, I will give you one free book from the Village Comics Library with your purchase, but you have to pay for your shipping to my PayPal account separately from Kickstarter, because it's gotten to a point now where it's like it's so unpredictable where it's going to go in the next 2 months even, that I can't really risk like having to spend $40 to ship one comic book to the UK. Like, it's ridiculous. So
well, Morgan really got ahead of the curve on that with having the US printers. And one of the things we're working on down there is developing, because we do a lot of work in Australia, we're working on getting printers set up there and in Europe so we can reciprocate that. So
that's great.
The end user won't have to fork out a kidney to get a $25 book. So.
Yeah, right. If you got connections in other countries, that's a great thing.
For sure.
Set it up, that your own global distribution network.
Well, we're closing in on it.
Anybody else have any questions for Morgan?
Yeah, Morgan, why don't you tell them a little bit about some of the special features that you added in there, unlike other campaigns, like the being able to write with you, winning your own theme song. Go ahead and kind of walk them through some of those unique features.
Thanks, Kev. So that's a good reminder. Yeah, I tried it before on a previous campaign, but it didn't really take. But this time around, I tried it again, and it's basically top tier is write for Shadow's daughter. So write an 8-page comic for Shadow's daughter with me, and essentially write a spin-off from the early history of the main character's sort of career, because there's a whole 10-year period where nothing's written and nothing's really happened yet, and everything is open in terms of what can happen. And I thought, you know what, I've done 6 of these. There are 4 more that are almost ready that'll come out after the campaign or during. I'm out of ideas. It would be a great idea to get someone else, some more people involved. They can basically buy into the whole world and help write and, have their own flair and all that sort of stuff. There's limited risk, obviously, on their side, because it's a known quantity. Even though I haven't announced it, it's already, I realized it's on my webpage, so that was kind of dumb. But anyway, it's been picked up by Mike Hosier as well, so an international press. So they're going to exist after the campaign. So there's some confidence there that you can co-write something, and it will exist. It won't just disappear off Kickstarter. So that was one of the things that I tried, and it worked really well. And I was really surprised really early how quickly people got onto that and liked the idea of writing, co-writing and building together. And it's great for me because I can get an infusion of new ideas without having to sort of come up with them myself and sort of grow the universe a little bit and all that sort of stuff. So that was a really cool thing. Unexpected cool. Surprise, really. Yeah.
Wendy has something really interesting. She said, what about with creators in other countries to see if they can get you info on having on-demand printing with that country for international backers? You'd have to work out the actual shipping of the product, but maybe the creator can help. I know that here in America, we do have some printing companies like Kablam. They will print your book and actually deliver and do your fulfill your Kickstarter for you. Obviously, it costs a bit extra, but you know, you put all of that into your comic, or into your budget.
Price, yeah.
So, it might be worth looking into other countries, into the UK, into Australia, and wherever else, and see if that's something that they can handle as well. Travis, I like lots of these people. I want to be the one guy he doesn't like.
You didn't say all. You did not say all.
Pretty sure you already are, Jeff.
But Travis is a trooper too, man, because he came on our show the other day while his wife was in the hospital. I'm like, dude, I'd get murdered. I would just straight up, that would be it. But he came on, and then he had this cool kind of echoey, ominous sound as he's off in his other corridor, you know. So it just made for a great show. But I was like, my wife said, if I was in a coma, yeah, you could probably do a show, but I'd kind of, you know, I'd kind of rather you know, hang out with me. So I give him props, man. He's a trooper for that.
Sorry. Yes, absolutely. He is a trooper. Well, I think we've all had those weird things. Like, I mean, especially those of us who have done multiple campaigns. I know that I did one when I did my first campaign, Welcome to the Void. I ended up passing a kidney stone and actually did a live from my hospital bed shortly after I'd passed a kidney stone. And I think just like, it's one of those things where it's just like, you got to keep going, man. Like you gotta keep pushing. Even if you funded, you're still looking ahead going, I got to get as much as I can, and whatever, if this is where I am, if I can still do this, fine, I'll do it. So yeah, I think that's cool.
sympathy dollars, huh?
Dude, it worked. I might just end up in a hospital randomly. Just be like, can I rent this room for half an hour? just during my Kickstarter.
Part of the marketing budget.
Right.
If you don't fund me, I'm going to be dead by the end of the day.
Right. If we don't hit this number.
You could win Chuck's kidney stone, right?
Who withdrew their dollar? Oh my god!
But my kidney stones are a stretch goal, actually.
Right.
I'm the one stretching, but whatever.
You can get a signed kidney stone.
Oh. So okay. Was there anything else as far as Morgan's is concerned before we move on to our next creator?
I would say be sure to watch for Minky announcements throughout the campaign, because Minky is a cool little Russian guy that you're really going to want to know. So be on the lookout for those.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Cheers.
Excellent. No, Morgan, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you. And by all means, anytime you any of you guys want to come on and talk about books and stuff, I was really glad to come on and hear about that. Please, everybody, check it out. I think it already sounds really interesting. Being a part of Inked, I've seen a lot of the stuff and checked it out and stuff, and I know that it looks really cool. So, Braden, do you want to talk about your book next?
All right, so It Was Nobody is a 24-page black and white heartfelt horror. It's 100% done. That's how I do my Kickstarters, is I make sure the books are 100% complete. So then by the time I'm funded, I can just order the books and get them to everyone. So book's 100% done. It's been edited. It's ready for print. This is my 4th Kickstarter campaign. Yes, God. Yeah, so because I had Reclaiming Godhood, Sever was the last one I just did, and this will be my 4th. And we'll have lots of cool rewards. We'll have enamel pins, prints, I might even do a raffle for the nobody for a nobody plushie. And yeah, that's.
We have something else that we're working on too. We have a little paper doll that we're trying to get made up.
Yeah, that too. And
yep.
This is only going to be the first campaign. I'll be around a lot more because I have 4 books that are dropping this year. So
Outwatch Onslaught is the one I'm most excited about.
I wonder why.
Well, it's because I know what's going on, and it's a great fucking book. It's classic slasher horror. It's really neat.
But yeah, that's me. I don't have a Kickstarter launched, like a pre-page quite launched yet. I'm still working on it. But if you guys want to follow me on Bradoxian Studios, or feel free to add me on Facebook, I will be constantly updating on both.
And Braden is on Twitter, even though he never posts there.
Yeah, I haven't used Twitter since Reclaiming Godhood, which was like 5 years ago.
You need to get on.
But I'm on Instagram. I use Instagram every now and then. And for this campaign, I'll be offering all my older books in it if people want to pick them up and check them out. So if you miss Sever, you can get a copy of Sever. You can get a copy of Reclaiming Godhood Volume 1, which is 6 pages of fast-paced action. Sever's 37 pages. Nobody's going to be a 24-page one-shot, so you get like 100 pages of books for like $10 or something. Wow. If you get the digital books.
That's sweet. Trish Bankston is over here. She says, okay, I'm geeking out. Kevin Smith is going to Fan Expo. Chuck McRoom. I guess that's in Dallas. Yeah. Well, come on by. We'll have a good old time, hon. You know I'll be there. Yeah, check out Bradoxian Studios. Anything else there, Bray?
No, that's it. Thanks for having me, guys. It was good hanging out with you guys, but I got to roll.
You roll, homie.
Yeah, take it easy.
All right. Excellent. Windy Gale wanted to see Dust Bunny Mafia, so we'll show that one off real quick. Guys, check that out. And then we have Caleb, who wanted to talk about the Neverland.
For sure. So let me throw the link in there real quick. But I actually have a preview campaign up, so I put the link. You can actually preview the campaign. I don't have the video up yet, but I have pretty much everything except like a few pages of the preview and the video, so you can see all the rewards, all the cool stuff that's going to be happening. But yeah, so I'll tell you a little story about where this came from. So about a year into the pandemic, my son was watching a Disney Plus or whatever and watching Jake and the Neverland Pirates like nonstop. Of course, it's like over and over. It's driving me crazy. I'm like, all right, enough with the Peter Pan stuff. But then like I had this crazy idea, basically spawned from my childhood memories of like watching The Neverending Story and stuff like that, like Willow, all these epic like fantasy, dark fantasy things that you know people with kids nowadays like should I show them The Neverending Story, because that's just pretty dark and it's pretty deep for a kid. But I was like, I want to write something that's like that for a new generation. And I had this idea with Peter Pan that kids are being forced to grow up too early because of the pandemic, and maybe this kid gets called to Neverland to somehow save it from disappearing from existence. So that's kind of what the story is. It's a kid whose mother's sick and he goes to bed one night and wakes up on a ship to Neverland and finds that it's dark and there's no magic left in it, and he has to basically go on this epic quest to put everything back together again and become the new Peter Pan. So yeah, I think it's fun. It's got the nostalgia factor. I won't pull up the share screen, but you can check out the campaign, we had Stan Yak do a variant cover that is basically a carbon copy of the Neverending Story poster, but with the Neverland characters and theme to it. And yeah, I'm really happy with everything that's coming together. It's my same team from my Flytrap book that I did last year. So we got Marcelo Biot, who did Nook with me and Flytrap, and then Robert Nugent, who does colors for like every other book that comes out through Source Point Press. And so it's going to look fantastic. And there's a lot of really cool bundles and stuff that you can get my books for super cheap. And one of the big things is day one back, there's a reward that you can get on day one that for $20 you get both covers of the book and the full Nook graphic novel for $20. But it's only going to be available for day one backers. And then if we fund the full campaign in the first 7 days, then everybody is going to get a board book of the Super Cats first book for their kids thrown in for free. When I ran that campaign, I overprinted just tons of them because I just anticipated selling them forever. So I have a bunch, and I'm like, why not give those to kids? So especially since Super Cats is now on Scout Comics with Cat Dad, just like Cat Dad. The one that you work on, Chuck.
No, you got it right. Cat Dad and Supermom.
And Scoop picked Super Cats up. So yeah, so they printed their own versions, and that's out and about. But I still have these board books, so I'm going to be giving those away, and have some other cool things planned. Angela Odling's doing a cool sticker design for us. Once we hit 200 backers, everybody gets one of those, and there'll be more stuff we'll add to it later. But yeah, man, it's gonna be great. It's a 5-part series. Everything's pretty much written at this point. It's just a matter of knocking them out one at a time, putting these together, doing through the Kickstarter, building up some steam, and you gotta do what you do. You can't. There's no shortcuts, man. Like, right? It's better. Honestly, it's better to do it one by one and just build that audience up. So that's what we're gonna do.
People are so excited. Trish already tried to back it. It's not even up yet.
That's awesome.
There's a cool thing you can do for kids. There's a charity we can get offline and talk about later. That's and they only take in new books because of issues and dust and all kind of stuff they can't bring to children's hospitals. But you can actually donate books to their cause. They'll get them in hospitals for kids, and they'll basically trade you a tax credit for doing that. So they do that to stores, they do that for creators, they do it all over. So it's a really good win-win situation.
I'll bust out some boxes, man. I got like a pallet's worth in my basement right now. So
I know Russell Allen also has his comic books for kids, which is a big one that they.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, is that the one? Okay, yeah.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, awesome. Well, that's the nice thing about this too. The Neverland
charity
is like a nice in between for my stuff. Like the Super Cats is for younger age kids, and then Neverland is kind of YA stuff. Like it's really, adults are going to get a lot out of it too, because there's a lot of subtext with what's going on in the world right now, and kids might not pick up on some of that, but it's still going to be just like a fun action adventure story. But there's a lot of that in there where, it's from my observations of kids going through the pandemic and like how older adults are basically grasping onto something that is no longer there because everything has been changed. And it's kind of about those two generations and how you move forward. But I don't know, I feel like it's something special, and it's came out of all this craziness of the past couple of years. So I'm really happy with how it's turning out.
Yeah, it's nice when something good comes out of all of this shit.
Exactly.
Brian says, yeah, I dig that idea a lot. Really like the whole struggling to hang on to something important, a world to escape to, but is in a peril due to the circumstances. he's gonna head out. Dude, always good having you on, Brian. Thank you so much for popping by, buddy. Oh, excuse me. And Edward said he would love to put that in his classroom library.
Nice.
So hit him up.
For sure, man.
Oh, Caleb, who's making stickers for you? My daughter just yelled in my ear. Oh, that was Angela Odling, right?
Yeah, she's gonna design it. If we get high enough, I might use the same design and get us enamel pins too. But because she normally does designs for pins for Pat Shand, if anyone's familiar with his campaigns. But I have Angela online doing stuff for me all the time since she does all the Super Cat stuff. So I was just like, hey, can you do it's going to be like a Tinkerbell, but if you look at the campaign page, like Tinkerbell looks like this evil, not really evil, but like this dark elf, kind of everything's a little dark. When I pitched this idea to my artist, I was like, think Guillermo del Toro or like Tim Burton, but it's a Peter Pan story. And so those are like my inspirations for these types of fantasy stories. So I think it's going to be something pretty fun. It's like similar characters that you're familiar with, but in a way that you've never seen them before.
So with the Guillermo del Toro influence, would that make this like a Peter Pan's Labyrinth?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Dad jokes! Let's fucking do it!
Try the veal. All night, folks. All night. All night. Okay.
Does anybody have any questions for Caleb and about his book and what he's doing, including you guys? I have that. He just wants your money.
Take my money. Take my Canadian money.
Give him all that Canadian Tire cash.
Yeah, really.
How close did you kind of stick to the original stories and whatnot, or did you really try to give it your own feel when you went into this world?
So that's a good question, because really part of the story I omitted talking about my son is that he was so into Peter Pan that I actually just read him like the original Peter Pan, which is like not what anyone thinks it is. It's not really for kids. Like it's pretty
brutal.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, that's kind of where all these ideas came from. I was like, I'm going to take those characters and kind of try to write a sequel with that book in my head. So it's based off the original novel and kind of the brutality of it, maybe minus some of the racism that's thrown in there. But I
love the maybe we'll take some of the racism off.
You have to show up to find out. I might throw something out. Yeah, so I played off of the original book, and but in my head it is more of like a spiritual sequel also to like the Steven Spielberg Hook movie, where it has that feel to it, and it's made for kids, but it's also there's more to it, but it's not like people are getting scalped like the original Peter Pan book. So
good call. I think that's a good call. Somebody asked how many right? Somebody asked how many pages it is. It's 30 pages?
So the first issue is 30 pages. They're all gonna stick around that. It's probably between 24 and 30. But it's 5 issues total. And we hope to get at least two issues done this year. And then, it all depends. It honestly depends on how well the campaigns go, because if we get enough to throw into the next issue and get that rolling, then it makes things a hell of a lot easier and makes things move a little faster. So that's why I've been like doing shows and just trying to spread the word and get that early follower backer number up, so that when we launch, we can get this thing going. And the day one reward. I hope that $20 deal entices people because you get that awesome never-ending story variant cover, the Marcelo Biat's original official cover, and then Nook. Like the Nook trade is like a hardbound 100-page graphic novel that you're getting that basically for free because the 2-pack Neverland thing's $20 after the first day. So it's to your benefit if you don't own that book to get on there and get it while you can get it for nothing, basically.
Yeah, I always struggle with those early backers, like how how to price them. Do I want, if people are going to back anyway to begin, do I want to do that? But I think that's a cool deal to really make sure you get funded early, and then it's all gravy from there.
Well, for me, like I have a bunch of Nooks still from my original print run, and I'm selling those at shows and stuff. But if I can get Neverland made quicker, I'm gonna do it. So
way to do it.
Well, plus Nook got picked up by Source Point Press, so that's coming out through them.
All your books are getting picked up. You can give your stock away.
Well, and I think you did a really good job, Caleb, of selling us on this book, but the problem is you did an even better job of selling Josh on the original. He's like, stopping in racism, I'm in. So apparently he's going to run and buy the original.
That shit is brutal.
Well, we all know there's those 3 sets of backers out there, right? There's the early bird people that just jump on with the specials. There's the people that do it after it funds, right? They're going to hold on to their wallet till it funds. Yeah. And then there's the people like me that almost miss it because we wait to the very last minute to do anything about it. So,
I have a comic creator buddy, because I think all of us who make comics, we get it. If you can, get in on day one. Like, try to help. If that's your dude, that if you really want to help them out, you're gonna try to get in as soon as you can to really help out. And we have this one comic creator buddy who I won't call out, but for some reason he always waits till like the last week. Not even the last
I know for sure I can easily market to myself because I'm that guy. I have literally missed some, and I'll admit this, I have missed some that we're pushing because we're so busy pushing it. I'm like, I'll go back to the crib. I'm like, look, man, I'll I'm going to buy it. Send me one. I'll pay for it. I just completely was so zoned on getting you done.
You're just saving them Kickstarter fees. That's how.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Instead, you can pay those PayPal fees.
Yeah, exactly.
They're cheaper. Oh, excuse me. Does anyone else have any questions for Caleb as far as this is going on? Connie's in the house. Connie sent me this. I'm going to say it, hon. I have to. She sent me a sick piece of Belial art that she's working on that we're loving so much. There's a good chance we're going to use it on the upcoming Kickstarter. So please check out her work. She's absolutely amazing, and the shit she's doing for Belial right now is off the chain.
Caleb, when is it going to launch?
We're not 100% sure yet.
Okay.
We want to make. Oh, sorry, Caleb. When's yours going to launch?
It's launching March 1st, and it's going to run until the 21st. So it's just a 3-week campaign.
Get on there.
Yeah, just jump on. I even have the URL. You can go to neverlandcomic.com, and that takes you right to the splash page that you can hit the notify button. That's all I've been trying to do for the past month is just trying to make that number go up. So
I totally feel you there. Any other questions for Caleb? No, we're good. All right. Let's move to Brett Giuliano. Does anyone have to go before we move on? We're good for a while?
Like to the bathroom or has to go?
No, if you have to go to the bathroom, just shut off your camera.
We have been on for a while, so if we want to kind of hit these rapid style, I don't know if anybody
Take it to the bathroom with you. You're a man. We all know it. You're fine.
It's that really.
Yeah, just turn the camera off and mute yourself, and we're good.
Yeah, exactly. Please do. So why don't we move on? I believe next we were going to talk, Brett. We were going to talk about your. Oh, Wendy, what's that?
Josh asked if you could come on.
I know. I put the StreamYard link in the chat. Come on, Wendy. You're an excellent executive assistant, but you're behind right now. So.
Uh-oh.
Gotta fight it out.
So yeah. I mean, of course, Josh, if you want to come on, by all means. But I believe, Brett, we were going to talk about your book next.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, like I introed earlier, Dust Bunny Mafia, based on a true story, Volume 4 is launching on Kickstarter on Sunday. It is my version of comic strips retelling famous and lesser-known mafia stories, in which I adapt them, put my own spin on them, and then give some history about what really happened. I cover everything from, people like Al Capone and Lucky Luciano, Bugsy Siegel founding Vegas, and things like that, to lesser-known mobsters and from all parts of the U.S. This will be my 4th collection. I do this zine style, so they're mini comics that are like half sheet style, in which each page basically is its own self-contained story. You got the comic up top, you've got history about it down below, and I offer some really cool incentives. So like each campaign, I'm known for doing poker chips that are exclusive to Kickstarter. I don't sell them anywhere else, but you can stock up on poker chips from previous campaigns with future campaigns, as long as I have stock available. I also do mobster commissions, so I'll take a famous mobster or an animal that you like and turn it into a mobster. And yeah, I've got some cool catch-up tiers, both physical and digital, on this campaign. And yeah, so I'm running for about 2.5 weeks, launching on Sunday. Should be good.
So those poker chips, do you get clay ones, plastic ones, and how many do you usually give?
So it's a composite poker chip. So it's composite clay and I think resin, pretty much, but it actually is better for stacking. So I know a lot of people will carry them with them or like stick them on their desk at work, and so they can fiddle with something. And right now there's 8 different poker chips available. Anyone who backs at physical level automatically gets the poker chip of this campaign included with their book. So the book for volume 4 is 32 pages right now, and there's always a stretch goal for bumping it up to 40 page. And so automatically, if you live in the US, I offer free US shipping. So for $15, you get the book, you get the campaign poker chip, and there's no extra shipping added. And then I basically have in the past placed an order for about 100 poker chips per campaign. And so I'm getting near the end of my first couple campaigns. I'm pretty close to running out of chips on those, and I probably won't do a reorder until probably a couple of years from now, so I can kind of do an exclusive.
So what made you decide to do the book lengthwise instead of vertical?
It works better for my comic, honestly. So I like the little digest size, and since I'm doing newspaper style comics, it's 3-panel. That's just how I've worked for it I've been doing this comic for about 10 years now, and the fact that I wanted to incorporate some history into it, have a little blurb of write-up section, that just seemed to work better for it. And so I went that way, and I've got some full-length collections that are 8.5 inches square, and that's actually the plan for next year, is to compile the first 4 volumes and actually do a big full-length comic collection trade style.
Well, you didn't tell me that when I picked up the book last weekend at the convention. I would have waited for the big event. What the hell?
Oh,
And I did see the poker chips in person. They are very cool.
Yeah, that one actually was an exclusive. I was trying something for NWI, and that is one of the secret pledges that I'm going to be adding in mid-campaign to try and draw. So I was doing a limited edition poker chip for Northwest Indiana Comic-Con this past weekend, and some of the extras that I have available will show up on that Kickstarter. But actually, to answer your question, John, that one's not coming. The trade you picked up was different than the Based on True Story series. So that trade is coming up next year. So
okay,
you're still good.
I'm good.
Sorry, I got blown away for a second. I have a bunch of people messaging me, but more importantly, my amazing wife just sent me her cover for her book from her artist. And I was trying to take a quick look at it because it's fucking awesome. I guess you just got that now?
Things
And you're
happen
just
late
showing
at
it
night
to me
at the
now?
Pinot Grigio house.
She's holding out on you, Chuck.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Secrets. Here's how the secrets begin.
Worst executive assistant ever, I'm telling you.
Just be careful. She might beat you. Not careful. You keep talking to her like that. She just might beat you. See you next. Chuck with a black eye. What happened? I ran.
Yeah. I need to get me some Nerf stairs.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Brett asked, are the stories sequential or are they one and done? So, like, do the stories kind of all mix together in this book and overlap?
So the characters the cast of characters are sequential, but the actual stories are one and done. So each page individually is a snapshot. So I do a bunch of true crime reading. So like that's my hobby outside of comics. I love true crime, especially organized crime. And so I'm always reading and listening to podcasts, things like that. And so pretty much I'll come across an interesting story, think that it can be adapted in, a comic form, and then try and, work that out. And so each page is itself a, individual story, an individual time or place with a, famous mobster. But then the actual book itself is, you'll see the cast of characters that'll show up from time to time. And it's, so it's not always the same cast of characters based on the same mobster, but so yeah.
Sweet. Caleb has to head out because he's got little ones and stuff. We get that. So
Yeah.
Caleb, can you just let everyone know real quick again where they can track you down and what's going on with you?
Yeah, guys, you really can just go to my website is villagecomicbooks.com, or you can hop on neverlandcomic.com and check out the splash. That's just a splash page for the Neverland campaign. But yeah, if you go to my Village Comic site, you can get some freebies for sign up for the email list, or go get all the good stuff at the campaign when we launch on the 1st. And yeah, that's about it.
I'm all about the good stuff. Thanks for showing up, bud. We appreciate you.
Yeah, take it easy. See
Take
you
care.
guys.
Connie says she loves the noir angle of mob stories. Truth is more out there than fiction most of the time. So fucking
100%. 100%.
Right.
That's actually the subtitle on my Based on True Stories.
Oh, that's right.
Truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah. Fiction has to make sense.
Well, and speaking of that, real quick, something that is stranger than fiction. My good buddy Josh Pentaloresco, can you real quick tell everybody about you, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about some of these books, and we'll get onto your stuff a bit later.
So I'm a writer, broadcaster, podcaster. I currently have 2 shows on my podcast, Just Joshing. I do a show for Kappa called the MyConsultant.ca show as well. I host that and do video editing there. My latest book releases Alice 1, which came out in December. It's Alice in Wonderland. It's Greek mythology. Alice is Pandora. My next release is going to be a special little challenge. I am writing and drawing it, which is kind of like absolutely terrifying. It's called Lights Out. It's a homage to Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. Make no bones about that. It's going to be fun and also terrifying because I didn't say it, but one of the reasons I'm drawing it is I'm actually not great at drawing, but nor is the character, so that's why it works, and I'm good with that.
That's fun, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, Connie says about Brett's book, is it strictly true events or more like historical fiction?
So I do it kind of like the Looney Tunes Animaniac style. So where I'm poking fun at true events, but every actual comic or every actual story that I write is based on a true story. So I'll take it and I'll stretch it. Obviously, I mean, my characters, Dust Bunny Mafia, it's all miniature characters. You've got dust bunnies, you've got rats, you got crows, things like that. And so they're interpreting the story, but yeah, the actual truth of the story and what I write in the blurb in relation to the comic is actual researched facts. I do heavy research when I do my comics. I've hooked up with a network of true crime authors and podcast hosts. Some have been retired police detectives and things like that. And so I go into a lot of research and I want to make sure that the stories I'm telling have truth to them, even if mine are just a fun take on it. But they have elements of truth to it.
What was that, John?
I was saying, don't let the cute animals fool you. Brett's got
Yes.
I was gonna say that's a good juxtaposition when you have it's sort of like with the old Dick Tracy where they had all this like violence, but it was in a cartoony style, but it makes it all the more worse because it's that juxtaposition of oh, it's supposed to be fun, like oh my, it's like a whole new level of like horror, of being horrific, or I don't know. I just find that
it shatters expectations. That's why on two different levels. That's why it just because like, hey, this is cute, and oh god, right? That's literally how it starts,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Right, and then on top of that, like you're dealing with like Dick Tracy's like some really adult, like has some really adult stuff in there,
totally.
right? Yeah. So then your mind's blown, and you're like, how do I go this? And I think with Brett's book, it's like I'll be the same way. Mind blown Dick Tracy style.
See, and nobody ever talks about Dick Tracy in the brilliance of Dick Tracy is that book introduced us to the Apple Watch almost 100 years before it even happened. People, how is nobody else talking about that?
Although I gotta say, the less said about the moon made, the better. But
can't all be winners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so true. Yeah.
Okay, so John, I know you have to head out soonish. Do you want to talk about your book real quick?
Yeah, sure. Before I roll out.
Yeah, man, please do.
We've been on for a while, so I know we did our introductions a little bit ago, but I'm kind of sandwiching two projects in here. But the first one on Kickstarter, we are funded. Yay, we funded in 6 days. It's Drumsticks of Doom. This is a heavy metal comic about a young woman who, in a world where Black Sabbath became the most popular band on the planet instead of the Beatles, heavy metal rules the earth. It's a little bit, like series you've probably seen before, Metalocalypse and Chuck Beebe's death metal. I started thinking about a universe like that, but decided, if I was going to do it, I didn't just want it to be a direct ripoff of that. So I wanted a more grounded story. So we've got our main character, Lana, and she just wants to play indie music, and she can't really find where she fits in with that. So that's kind of where the story picks up. Somehow she comes across a magical pair of drumsticks, and I thought it would be cool to have drumsticks like magic wands in my story and make a tribute to Dio and Manowar and all these bands that are kind of over the top and take some of the lore from actual heavy metal music and kind of put it into these stories. So
will there be a cameo by Accept?
Balls to the walls. I mean, they could be in there.
Come on, Marth, please. Just
Marth, yeah, that's funny you should mention.
I've heard about this book.
They are on a
already,
background poster, and I did not tell.
So.
Series artist Dan Doherty, you've probably seen him. He does a long running series called Beardo, Touching Evil for SourcePoint Press. He's an amazing artist. and he still plays music to this day, and I've been in bands for a long time. So I wanted to recruit someone who I knew not only knew how to draw the technical aspects of the comic, but kind of knew what it was like to struggle with being in bands and trying to write music, and that's kind of what is at the heart of this story. And you know, well, you can look at the page. You know, the art itself is worth the buy-in, and hopefully, you know, the story will be enjoyed by people too.
You know,
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it
Something-
does, actually. I mean,
Something I really like about John is he's always been really fucking honest. As much as he loves to be sarcastic and fuck around, which a lot of us do, he's also super honest about kind of where he is in the business and what's been going on with some of his projects and stuff. And because of that, I wanted to ask you, you know, when we did Depowered, we pushed it and it couldn't get over the mark. And that was a tough one, and you really had to fight to make that happen. You ended up going to Indiegogo. I believe you also ended up doing a pre-sale on your own website and stuff. Like, you did everything you could to get that book done and get it printed and out there. But Drumsticks of Doom looks like, yeah, and there you go right there. Let's show that bad boy
Awesome.
off.
Yeah.
I love that book, but Drumsticks of Doom looks almost like it funded itself. What do you think? Like, what do you think is the difference? Like, is it the project? Is it the timing?
Well, I do think you know, part of it was the timing. I mean, I kind of jumped in, you know, third quarter of last year. A lot of horror books on Kickstarter. People are looking for that kind of stuff. I had to be honest. You know, maybe shoehorn myself in. You know, I mean, you've edited Depowered, Chuck. You've read some of my other books. You know, my stories are, you know, a little bit more slice of life, a little bit more emo, you know, whatever you want to call them. That's just who I am as a person and a writer. So I can understand why Depowered was maybe not as easy of a sell for people. I mean, we did get a lot of backers. I don't want to say we didn't.
Yeah.
We had 127 backers. And,
I backed
maybe,
it.
Thank you.
I backed it.
Yeah, you backed the book you were in. You would have got a free copy.
Can I ask a question before you bail? Because I know you gotta go soon. It's just a thought, maybe why this one worked and why the other one didn't.
Yeah, I mean, happy to discuss it.
Yeah, so this is something I interview people too, and one of the things I realize is sometimes I think with all of us, the stuff that sticks, generally speaking, the spaghetti that sticks to the wall has a tendency to be something that's closer to the person writing it. I'm not saying that, again, Depowered wasn't a personal project, but what I just based on how you talked about this one, based on how, like, you're really into this, like, you're personally, and I almost get the feeling like the first one was almost like your learning curve of how to do it, and this one kind of feels like this is like your book where you learn your lessons, but also maybe found something even closer to who you are. Is that a possibility?
I mean, I definitely think Drumsticks. That's a story I've had in my mind for longer, I think. But both of them, I mean, took a long time to come to light. I mean, I was with a previous publisher, Kingbone Press, for about a decade. I mean, I've done, you know, a dozen or so crowdfunding campaigns, but I think you're right. I think Depowered, maybe I was thinking about other projects, kind of trying to, okay, let's get it going. Didn't hype it up enough. I didn't do enough of conversations like we're doing right now. Yeah, I'm sure that there was a little bit of that. Not that my heart wasn't in it, but that the project,
no,
I didn't have the whole package ready to go. I also, I'll be honest, you know, working, you know, when you form a team, a creative team, especially if you're a writer, you're bringing in artists, you know, certain have their own built-in audience. And Depowered, I worked, you know, with amazing artists, you know, long time collaborator Bob Ornelas and I created the project. I worked with a new artist, Ronaldo Lay, but, you know, Bob and I have the same audience. We've been working together a long time. Ronaldo, you know, he has some, you know, audience that he's building up, but it's not quite to the level of working with, you know, Dan's been doing comics for 20 years. He's got his own following. So I think that may have helped kind of stir things up. And again, we did pretty well. I think my biggest mistake was I had a successful Kickstarter early in 2021, 22, 21. I had a second one in May. So now I'm on a roll, right? I'm like, okay, you know, I'm doing well. Then I'm like, I'm going to push this one in September. We're going to get it done. And I set the goal too high. I set the goal for the highest I had ever made. I've never been that high. I would have had to have, gotten the most backers I'd ever gotten, which was 197 previously. And the book was very cheap. It was a $6 book. So, I set a $4,000 goal when the bulk of your orders are going to be the book, right? So if the bulk of your orders are $10, again, we got to $2,100. If I had set the goal for 2,000, we would have been set. Now, that's because the budget for the book was bigger, or I wanted it to be. So I was trying to set it where it needed to be, but you just can't do that. Even for Drumsticks, the main goal is about 2/3 of what I really need to fund the book, which most of us do, right? There's the goal, and then there's the real goal, and that's always the balance that I struggle with. Do I set it at the price I need and then just kind of hope that I get it, or do I set it lower and then figure out how to get the rest of the costs after? I don't know. That's always my struggle.
That's actually what I did for one of my first comic collections. Not the one that you picked up, but for Blind Tiger, I did it was my second trade essentially, and I did a Kickstarter for it for back in 2020 for $4,000, and it was definitely an overshoot, and I raised like 2,100, and then I retooled it and relaunched 3 weeks later for 2,500 and made the goal. And so essentially I made enough to print the books and ship the books and package them, but everything else was out of pocket.
And I talked to Chuck about this after the book didn't fund. We did a pre-order, and because I thought these people have ordered it through Kickstarter, they'll just pre-order it through the site now. No big deal. We'll recoup this money, no problem. Well, that didn't happen. So then I went to Indiegogo. So now I'm spinning my wheels instead of just stopping, retooling, launching it later. I kind of, my pride was hurt a little bit. I said, I'm not going back to Kickstarter. This one just failed. Screw it. I'll just do it myself. And we got some pre-orders. I mean, that's why the book is here, and I'm grateful for that. But it was nowhere near what I needed. So now I've kind of dug myself, an even bigger hole. But.
Well, it's funny when Josh was talking earlier about how some of the material is closer to you than others. I would actually argue that I think the material in Depowered is almost just more personal. It's easy for us to talk about, because you and I, John, we're both metalheads. I mean, absolutely love that world. So it's so easy to be passionate about it and to talk about it. Whereas with Depowered, it is, like you said, a much more emo book. I mean, there's so many scenes of a guy just unhappily sitting behind his fucking booth at a Comic-Con going, this is fucking hell. And I think all of us have been behind our booths watching people walk by going, fuck, this is one of the circles of hell. And selling a hell book while living in it is not great. So, I mean, if you guys are looking for something that hits close to home, that is both fun and slice of life, Depowered is absolutely in that. He really does. Like, I really felt the ups and especially the downs of the Comic-Con life were in that book. And so it is a good one to check out.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I just have to be honest. That one's a little bit harder to sell.
Yeah,
so I've got some more work to do. I'll probably relaunch around issue 2 and hope to recoup some of the costs for issue 1, and then maybe we get to a trade down the road, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Trying to sell Chronicles of the Essence Guard, which is this avant-garde kind of heady little time travel thing going on, that's a tough sell. And then trying to sell Belial, where it's just a bunch of demons talking shit and dick and fart jokes, and that's like so much easier. So yeah, like it just, some books are gonna come out a lot easier, and they're gonna sell themselves, and other ones it's gonna be pulling nails.
Yeah, for sure.
Does anybody have any questions for my dude John about his book?
I just have a question.
I'll answer one question. You can get Depowered for the first time through the Drumsticks of Doom Kickstarter, so get it there now. You can get 2 for 1 if you missed them.
I just got a question. Yeah. What is the percentage of Ozzy versus Dio in the book for the Drumsticks of Doom? Is it more Ozzy? Is it more Ronnie James Dio?
Well, I will tell you this. This is a great question. I'm so glad that you asked this. I've been waiting my entire life for this question. I was a late convert to the legend of Ronnie James Dio. I, of course, knew his, the big hits that were on the radio. I kind of never really listened to his tenure in Sabbath until I was well into my 30s. And I realized, wow, this guy is a fucking legend. He's amazing. These songs are amazing. He was amazing in Black Sabbath. And he did not get the credit he deserved while he was on this earth. And this book started out as kind of a tongue-in-cheek. Even the logo is a riff off of Manowar. So it started as, like Wheels of Fire and Kings of Metal and that shit. And then I realized, no, this is not a Manowar comic. This is a Ronnie James Dio comic. So there is a lot of Ronnie James Dio in this. Now, no disrespect to Ozzy, he is one of the best to ever do it. But yeah, he's definitely. I love the songs that Black Sabbath made, but as far as a singer, I lean more towards Ronnie James Dio, and there will be a little bit of that in the book.
Hey, John. Most importantly, favorite Dio Sabbath song and favorite Ozzy Sabbath song.
Super nice.
My favorite Ozzy Sabbath song is "The Wizard."
I was just there. Oh, I love "The Wizard." Yes.
I mean, that whole first album is just, that's part of how this premise came out. It was like, that should have been the most earth-shattering album to ever hit the earth. Just the sound and the whole.
Oh, before I forget, if I read this book, will I hear like Sweet Leaf in the background playing?
You might. I mean, the tagline for this one is the last in line for Dio. That's what I've been playing in the Kickstarter video and stuff like that. So that's kind of the feel I'm going for. That epicness. But yeah, we might sneak in some Sabbath. We talked about putting like QR codes in the background and like secretly hiding like songs in the background. But as far as favorite Dio, it's probably Heaven and Hell. I mean, that's the album that I just listened to over and over and over again since I finally gave the Dio Sabbath era a fair shot.
Fair. It's fair. It's fair to Dio.
Right. Any other questions for John before he heads out?
Appreciate y'all. I know all of you all know. Even when you're funded, again, there's the goal and then there's the real goal. We've got a ways to go. If we get to $6,000, we're gonna be able to make a bigger book, which will then extend the series. If not, for now, it's going to be a one shot, and then we'll kind of recollect and see where we're at. I have a big budget for this. I'm working with, the best of the best artists. I think, we've got Maria Wolf doing covers, Kaylin Smith, Dan Doherty on the internal art. It's black and white. I felt like that fit the story better. There could be a color version down the road, but for now it's black and white. But yeah, we've got ways to go with the budget. And I'd like to make this into a series, but I also understand that, again, with Depowered not working out and some other projects, I can't continue to front these books without a little bit of financial support. So it's the evil part of the industry that, kind of gets in the way of our projects, but, it has to be talked about.
Business is business, man.
Yeah. It's that part that we got to see in Depowered.
Although props are getting Kaylin Smith. She's actually secretly one of my favorite creators on the biz. Very underrated. Awesome person.
She is amazing. And I was fortunate. She's pretty close with Dan, so I had an inside route. But of course, anyone approach your artist. Same thing with Maria. I didn't think Maria would be able to fit me in her schedule. She's doing Marvel covers. She's doing, Superior 4 and Thor and shit like that. And she's like, no, of course, you're from Chicago. This sounds like a cool heavy metal project. Let's work together. And we did.
My biggest fear, when I do meet her in person, she's probably going to take my lunch money. We actually have a little inside joke about that because her scowl is epic. She's one of the sweetest people you'll ever talk to, but her scowl, man, is just amazing. Right? So
that's funny.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thanks for coming by, John. We really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all. Talk to y'all soon.
Paul, why don't we go on to yours next? Let's talk some Cryptic Haze.
Cryptic Haze. Yeah, again, my name is Paul Gomez. I'm a brand new comic creator. I had 2 for PTSD, Bushibu Circus. The new one on Kickstarter is Cryptic Haze. And it's my version of doing a homage to the Killing Joke. Batman's The Killing Joke. I tell people it's kind of like a modern day Monkey's Paw or a dark twist on a fantasy island, if you will. And really, it's about that story of a guy who's really hit the wall and kind of devastated. And in this one day, he's got this plethora of options whenever he meets this man who gives him a possibility of doing things differently and controlling the power of a mind. So Cryptic Haze is on Kickstarter, and it's got brand new tiers that came out just now.
Sorry, I had to give Raven a little bit of what he was asking for while you were telling us all about Cryptic Haze.
But you should have made Raven pay for it, Chuck. You should have made him pay for it. You bet, like
$2.
The first, you guys know how it goes. The first splash is free. You want the rest? You want the real dark stuff? You're going to. Before we move any further with Paul and Cryptic Haze, Brett, I believe you had to head out.
Yeah, it's getting a little late for me. But
no, dude, we're on 2 hours. I was trying to look at my watch. My wife has my watch. yeah, no, I see it there, honey. Thank you. Brett, real quick, tell everyone where they can track down your stuff, and thank you so much for coming by, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Based on a true story, Volume 4 is launching on Sunday on Kickstarter. I actually just recently got a fancy Linktree thing, so I'll throw that in the chat. You can follow me there. I will, whenever I can find it. And Kickstarter will launch on Sunday. It's going to be 2.5 weeks or something like that. There's catch-up tiers for, both digital and physical, and should be a lot of fun.
Sounds like a really cool book,
awesome.
Man.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Much love to you, Brett. Much love to Connie. Guys, all of you, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming by. And please keep kicking ass, bud.
I just went ahead and dropped the link for Paul's in the comments. So
yes. Mm-hmm. So, does anyone have any questions about Cryptic Haze?
Paul, why don't you tell them a little about some of the extras that you just put in and some of the art that they can get from the lead artist on it?
That's right. San Espina's actually got 5 pages that's on there. One of them's been sold already. That first page of original, beautiful, unique art that Sam Espina has. If you hadn't seen his work, you definitely have to see it. Let me show you a peek from his pages off PTSD, and you can see his unique paneling.
Neat.
And it just carried over into this next book that me and him collaborated on. He's got, like I said, 4 pages on there that are still up for grabs. One of the unique tiers that we just added was actually a tapestry of black light of our first cover, which was Jeff Mute's. Now, I don't have the cover of Cryptic Haze, but that's Jeff Mute's cover right there of PTSD. And let me tell you, his cover for Cryptic Haze is just as well. It's got blue and green and black light on a tapestry. Would be amazing to see. We also have retail tiers that we just added, including also not the retail, also retail, but Kickstarter exclusive cover from Brian Clegg, which is a great artist as well. So we have tons of tiers that are just added on.
Nice.
That's awesome, dude. We have one more guest popping in. My dude, he was on here just recently. Raven Gregory is in the house. What's up, Raven?
Oh.
Starting the show with the stripper.
What's up? Hey, I just wanted to yeah, there's action in the background in case y'all into that shit.
Oh yeah, there is.
ASMR life. Here you go.
That here.
Give me your joint. Give me your joint.
Move, set it down, man.
I want your weed.
I make tacos, y'all.
Okay, set it down. Oh my gosh, everybody's bringing me food. Anyway.
No, let them see my creation. Let them see my creation. What?
Anyway.
Eat your delicious butt.
She gave him a gunner, kid.
Anyway, so the whole entire point. You know what's crazy is I'm watching this shit right now, but my lips are moving at the same time as I'm speaking. So it's almost like the shit's in dubbed.
Raven, you are the first guy I've ever seen smoking a joint and saying no to food. I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, no,
before.
it's never.
No, get that shit out of my face.
Tacos. Tacos too, dude. I mean, like, why?
Yeah, who's doing tacos?
So
from one haze to another, we're gonna go.
Paul Gomez.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Paul Gomez. I just wanted to ask you.
What did you want to ask?
That beard's amazing, dude.
Oh.
I didn't want to ask you shit. I just wanted to tell you your fucking beard's amazing. It's fucking dope.
It is an excellent beard.
Thank you.
I won't deny that. Kevin also.
All right, so let me promote my shit. Okay, so
Molly's talking. Cryptic Haze is on Kickstarter now.
Cryptic Haze, everybody.
All right. So I am promoting marijuana. That's what I'm promoting.
Oh, okay.
My newest book is Cough.
Did that follow up the Puff Puff Pass series from previous?
From Chronic Press.
Is there a spin-off called
Because seriously, like the whole entire time this whole interview is going on, I'm looking at everybody's faces and I'm listening to everything you guys are saying, but I'm hearing my voice like 5 seconds later.
I've been here for 2 hours.
I was like, we've been here for 2 hours. I want to talk about my fucking book.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna go from.
I'm finishing pages anyways as we speak for whatever. I mean,
I love that. Well, so we're gonna go from the Haze of Raven to Paul, and then we'll do Evan next. So, Paul, keep telling us about Cryptic Haze.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a homage to the Batman's The Killing Joke. It's like that thing that where the Joker was trying to turn Commissioner Gordon with one tragic day, and it's really my version, of Monkey's Paw.
Yeah.
Nice. So
the twist to me that I thought was nice is if you could basically take over, right? And if you could have the power of the mind and take over somebody else's mind, what would you do? What could you do? What are the limitations? How far would you take it?
It's an interesting idea. I mean, the other question. Sorry.
And it really has like one twist after another that you'll never see coming. But I mean, it's really
who has the voice effect right now?
Not I.
Not I.
Maybe you're just hearing that.
Somebody sounds like the guy from Scream. Like one of you guys is about to. I swear, somebody's about to murder all of us.
Am I behind you?
Can you make it to Canada?
I'm in Canada.
It's your kids with all that food.
Yeah.
They're sneaking up, man. They're gonna. Hey, what's that?
I know, right?
Does anybody have any questions for Paul about his book?
So I actually got one. So it's an interesting concept. My question is, like, if you took over someone's mind, isn't that like a rape? Kind of, because you're making someone do things against their will completely.
And the thing about it is he has to figure out what he's going to do with this power. And in this book, it answers with the consequences of what he actually chooses. So this is where this book kind of comes in as well. But like I said, there's a twist upon a twist because I didn't want anyone to see what was coming. And if you ever read The Killing Joke, it really did have that ending that made you think.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. After 20 years, I didn't realize what he was going.
So actually, vote here for everybody here. Did Batman kill the Joker at the end of the book?
Oh, I think so.
I do too, actually.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, so Rolando asked, "What's the price per book for your retail tier?"
Oh, I think my retail tier was about $3 per book. It might have been a little bit more. It's 10 books. If I'm right, it was about 65, but I added some items as well, including mini prints and stickers for the retailer. And I have 2 retail tiers, not just one. So one of them has PTSD and Bushibu included in the package as well.
Oh, cool. Because I know that he is a retailer, so.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
So I just figured out what was happening. I was listening to you guys on my phone while I was talking to you guys.
Yeah.
I was so high. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this English dub version shit?
You're so high, you didn't want tacos.
Also,
I'm not high and I want tacos.
Because
Stop talking stereo.
Because I've been doing this for 20 years, I just want to
Okay,
say something to all the fans out there who are watching right now. Hey, motherfuckers, y'all should buy all of our shit. You think this shit is easy? Man, this shit is hard. You know how much therapy we got to go through to keep doing this shit? We are some depressed, anxiety, antisocial motherfuckers. Pay us, please.
Do you know how expensive weed is? Yeah, man.
Look,
I'm not
There.
antisocial.
There.
I actually
That's how
put it
you
on
get.
mine that I'll go visit you if you buy one of my tiers. I'm not antisocial.
That's how you get, man. Hey, you want to tear my nuts? That's my. No, I'm just saying. I love you, man. No, but for real, every once in a while, you got to kind of throw the shit out and just be like, "Hey, man,
Wait, you're
you
nuts?
know what? You should give me money. Because what else
Yeah.
you doing with money? You're gonna buy cigarettes. Cigarettes are bad for you. You're gonna buy
Quit
weed.
smoking.
That's okay. Go ahead, buy your weed. You gotta pay for porn. You don't even have to pay for porn anymore. It's free. You have like 10 tabs open on the internet.
Or just
Come
get
on.
a girlfriend or boyfriend.
Anyway, real quick. 'Cause I feel
Speaking of that,
right now,
any other Raven?
Paul,
Anybody else? Do you guys have any questions for Paul about his book?
Paul, what do you do, dude? What do you do? Tell me about yourself, man. Tell me your hopes. Tell me your dreams.
I
Tell me your
didn't do that.
deepest fear.
I want to feed my kids. That's it.
Are
I'm
you-
making books
Hey,
to feed my kids.
Tacos.
Tacos. See, I wouldn't
yeah,
have passed up tacos.
Yeah.
What about you, Kevin? What's your goal in all this? He's like, I gotta feed my kids.
Well,
What's yours?
my goal is to help feed Paul's kids because we're the ones marketing the book. So we're
Nice.
They
Cause,
campaigned
man.
for my first book, PTSD, which funded, and campaigning for this book, which is more than halfway there. I think we're at 600 of 1,000. Ink marketing.
Now, normally I don't read the comments during these things, as Chuck fully well knows. But whoever said that we just go on trees support comics, somebody needs to make a T-shirt of that shit. That motherfucker is a genius.
Mike is. No, Mike legitimately is.
One of the things I wanted to mention too is the retail tiers are always so important, and also to backtrack for a second, Edgar's, the one for Amerikaiju, also has retail tiers. So always make sure you try to include those with your book, because it's just another way, another level up, and it's always important. So it was good to see that it was, Paul's able to put those in his, and again, what we do, Raven, is I run a firm that is a firm of creators for creators, and we get out there and hustle and just get out there, get the word out there. We build animations for these things. We build ads. We play social media out there. We do everything from get them pencilers, inkers, colorists, letterers, all the way through to printing and fulfillment. So we kind of touch all ends of it, kind of a one-stop shop.
Oh, that's dope, man. Hey, quick question. So you guys are doing a Kickstarter right now, right?
Yes.
How many days you have left on it?
I've got 20.
20 days. Isn't it such a stressful fucking thing? Like that first couple of days, you get all that money, and then all of a sudden you start thinking, dude, does anyone like me anymore? Like, am I not? Is my worth dictated by how much I made in a day?
They liked me at the beginning.
And they like you at the end. And they like you
at the end, dude. They'll like you at the end. That middle period is like, dude, is she ever gonna call me back? Like, come on, man. I put in work. I took her out to dinner.
You got to work every
we found
day.
There's different ways to kind of help take out what I call that London Bridge effect, right? That peak in the beginning and that dip and that peak, at the end. And there's different things that you can do to kind of counteract that. So that's where we help come in and try to level things out for everybody.
That's why I think everybody in comics needs to launch an OnlyFans page. If we all started showing our dick and titties and boobs and shit when we were promoting our work, I know we would get more eyes on that shit. Like if it was like, hey, I want to read Wonderland. Have you seen the guy who writes Wonderland's dick? No, I haven't. I gotta see that shit. Next
I'm
thing
going to
you
get money for people not wanting to see it. They'd be like,
There it is. There it is.
I'll send you nudes unless you buy my fucking book.
There you go. Thinking outside the box.
I'm thinking there needs to be a taco tier now.
There should be a taco tier.
Definitely. Well, and he's from West Texas. He can pick up some great tacos.
Oh yeah, and it's only on Tuesdays. You can only get the taco tier on Tuesdays.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That'd be amazing. That's actually a good idea. Legit. Yeah.
Hey, also, I think you guys should know. I'm pretty sure that Evan is the killer. He's being really quiet over there, and he has the hoodie on. He's like, "I'm just waiting for my chance. I'm gonna take him out one by one." I've seen this movie. Chuck, you're going first because you're the host.
Right?
What are you going for?
I just better drive out to Winnipeg. I'll be there in 5 days.
Hey, for real, when we're done with this, somebody send me a link. Let me check out the Kickstarter and shit. I'll throw up a share. You know what I hate? I hate when you have a friend or a fan or not a fan or a creator and you want to share their Kickstarters out. The algorithm doesn't let anybody see you share that shit.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man. Like so many people ask me to share their Kickstarter and I'm like, for what? If I do it, no one's going to see it. Facebook, fuck you, bitch. Facebook.
Well, that's why I try to do these kinds of things, we show off everybody's stuff and hopefully get them talking and excited about it and shit.
I have anxiety. Buy my shit. That's my pitch.
That's it. That's a good pitch. Paul, anything else for Cryptic Haze or even for you? Do you have some shows coming up soon?
I'm actually starting to co-host on two indie shows, including Think Indie and Shadowcrats for Comic Crusaders on Fridays. So from every Friday, I'll be on a show. I've got signings this week and next week, and it's just going from there.
Yeah, good shit, dude. Good stuff. We're gonna move on to Evan because he's been so patient. He's been showing his stuff off nicely.
I was gonna go to bed actually, but is anyone here yet? Still? Okay, hi guys. Yeah. Sure. Okay, so what's up? See, I already drew the second issue of Murder City Devil this entire time.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got. Show us what you got.
I started inking this page. Look at the guy that's bored. Oh my god.
Did you do all of that during the show today?
No. Well, yeah, sort of. But,
Dude, how long did you keep him waiting?
I got this. Well, I've been here. Look, I drew a morgue scene. In a morgue, kicking it right there. No, I've just been working on some pages while you guys been. It's all right. I'm a very patient man.
No, you've been very Canadian. I've appreciated
it. Dude, where I'm in Canada too. Whereabouts are you?
Winnipeg. Yeah,
Canada.
I'm
not gonna say anything about Winnipeg. I know.
No, go for it. It sucks. It's a shit.
I know. That's why I'm being nice. That's why I'm being nice. Right?
That's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Evan.
Yeah.
Trisha's wondering, are you open for commissions?
No. I'm doing. I just do covers and pinups, and probably not for about a month because I already got a bunch of covers and pinups I'm doing right now. Plus, I work full time, and I do 2 books. I write and draw. Murder City Devil, and I also write and draw Lucha Mystery. By the way, Chuck, so you got the books that I sent you, or what?
I did. I'm going to be showing them off and reading them as soon as I can.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, I do covers and pinups, but it's going to be a while. So, yeah. I'll post it on the Facebook when it's like open for commissions again. But no, I'm like honestly too busy doing books, so just trying to get it going on, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's yeah. So again, I had a Kickstarter, but now it's done. So for so I could finance Murder City Devil 2. Here's the first issue, and pretty much before that was my first Kickstarter campaign. I'm kind of late to the party, but I made money to finance issue 2. I usually did self-financing my own books and stuff because I'm the artist and the writer, so I basically just got to pay a colorist. So yeah, so that's it. So if you like horror and true crime comics, Murder City Devil is the book for you. If you like B movies, like grindhouse type movies, lucha mystery is probably a book that you would like. So they're both by Scattered Comics and they're on Indie Planet. So you can, or if you're in Canada, they're at Studio Comics Press. So you can go and do that. And yeah, this Murder City Devil is based on the legendary character Spring-Heeled Jack, although he's not called Spring-Heeled Jack because that's kind of a dumb name in the 21st century. So it's called Murder City Devil. So it's yeah, I have that, and it's if you like, it's basically like a modern day pulp comic. So I don't know if I can show you some artwork in here. I don't know if this will show up pretty good, but it's a horror comic. Oops, guys. How's that going? It's a horror comic. So
honestly, dude, you're very impressive. Like the work you do that looks like really good stuff.
Well, thank you. I have a really good colorist. His name's Diego Gomez. He's from Mexico City. Pardon me, I just drank a lot of coffee. And it's like, there we go. So it's really, yeah, if you like pulp comics and stuff like that, this Murder City Devil, you probably dig it. Hi, Ed. And so the, and this one, like, again, if you like Lucha Libre and sci-fi and stuff like that, and like hot vampire chicks, this is probably the, wait a second, there we go. So, like, if you like B movies and like these movies and stuff like that, then I can't really see what I'm doing here. Okay, so, and chicks in their underwear running around, then that's,
yeah.
Isn't the woman from that book based on your wife?
You mean my girlfriend?
Yeah, sorry. I just stepped you up. Holy shit.
No. I drew this in 27. I actually wrote this story in 2000. Did a first version 2010, and then I did the actual characters based on Devil Girl from Mars, which was this 50s sci-fi movie from Britain. So I just, but my girlfriend did cosplay as Rita Rivera, the reporter.
That's right.
So yeah. So she did that as the chick with Moxie there, So that's what my girlfriend, was like that chick. So yeah, and she did a good job too. So
yeah,
her idea. So, yeah. And she was going to go as Rockdora, but couldn't make a costume in time. Queen Rockdora is the villain in Lucha Mystery, or one of the villains anyway. So yeah, that would be something else if she cosplayed like that. But yeah, all in due time. Because I mean, due to pandemics, there's no conventions. There's only one convention in Winnipeg, and it's in October. So in terms of traveling,
yes.
I started a new job on Monday, so I don't know what's going on.
I remember that Winnipeg Con. It was interesting.
Which one?
Very nice thing to say.
Well, no, it was C4 back in the C4 days. It was the most dysfunctional con I've ever been to by a shot, and that elevator will be in my nightmares for the rest of my life.
What year were you there?
2000. I want to say 16.
Yeah,
I think it was 16, 17.
Was I there 2016? I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had published my book. My books have been published by my publisher. I actually did really well, but I was a substitute for the con. And here's the thing: they didn't tell me I was a sub. I just started getting con stuff on Monday. I didn't know I was actually the sub until Wednesday. The con was Thursday, so I had to get my flight and stuff booked. I get there, And the elevator being what it is, you know, that hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Is such a crappy thing. This is what I ended up doing. I just stared it from the bottom to the top because it was easier. I almost had to fight one of the guys up there. No, I don't care. I just want to get my stuff.
Yeah.
So after all that, it was great. Like the people in the city, Winnipeg's a great reading town. It really is. That all said, that con, made me appreciate how a good difference between a good con and an organized con and an unorganized con.
Oh, yeah.
I learned the difference.
I just had a table and what the hell ever. That's why.
Yeah, I was a sub, so it kind of was a crash course. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta jet real quick,
It's-
but I wanted to hang out and see Evan's stuff, and it's awesome stuff. So I'll be taking it.
Good shit.
And I want to
Thanks,
support
Kev.
Paul, so I want to hang out.
Thanks,
So
Kevin.
you guys all have a great one, and thanks for having me out, man.
We appreciate you, Kev. Thanks, man.
All right, you guys check out, Inked Marketing. So www.inked.marketing. Go check it out.
Yeah, I need that.
Check, guys.
And the NSC Roadshow.
Yes, definitely NSC Roadshow. Chuck's part of that crew. There's 20 podcasts on there, all comic podcasts. Come check it out. And if you have a podcast and you want to come on, more than welcome to come on. And we help supply creators. So you can come see people like Monty Michael Moore, Chuck Dixon, Mike Barron was on the other day. We've had, just a number
Justin
of
Gray.
Yeah, Chuck was on the show with us when we did this stuff for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, Kevin Eastman swat by. So, I mean, you never know who's going to pop up. And they're always willing to give good tidbits to everybody on how to make it and how to go through and how to put stuff together. So, great times. Have a bunch of new creators on. Paul just had a show on there. So, you guys come check us out, and we'll see if we can get together.
Put Raven on that shit.
Hey, drop me a line, man. We'll get you a show set up, and we'll talk.
About to smoke weed. It's gonna be hard for me to remember that, but I will be on your show next week.
we'll make
Remind
it
me. Ask Chuck. Chuck, we canceled like twice, and then I was like, "Hey, Chuck, can we start early?" And he was like, "Let's do this shit.
Let's do it." And we did it.
And then
And people loved it.
And then he forgot me. He started looking at how many books he's read and shit. He was like,
That's right.
That's
I was Googling myself like a douche.
Like Raven who?
Oh, I got a show. That's right.
Man, I'll check out your stuff. You guys
Yeah,
take
man.
care.
Nice meeting you.
Decab.
Hey, so guys, what's the con scene like now? I haven't been on the circuit in like 7 years, and like when we were on it, we were going hard and heavy, like 20 shows a year, like 5-6 people staying in the same hotel room. Me and Mike DeBalfo were like freaking. I was the big spoon, he was the little spoon. Everyone hated sleeping in my room because I snored. Like, what's it like out there? Is it still good or is it bad?
I don't know. It's been a pandemic. I don't no idea.
It's been hard.
No one knows.
It's
It's
picking
been
up,
hard.
but it's not thriving yet.
Yeah.
Every con I've done has had huge amounts of empty tables on every row.
Ah, shit.
Yeah. And the crowds, I mean, they're not as packed as they have been past years or so. But yeah, it's a little tough right now.
But what I have seen is that people seem willing to spend. I mean, people go and they're willing to buy books. The people that do actually show up have been great customers. But I mean, when you're working the San Diego special edition thing, and there were, I think, 10 empty tables on our row. So we were all like, fuck it, spread out. Like I had to bring extra stuff that I normally don't even bring because nobody's buying shirts and hats. But I'm like, all right, I'm going to have a table of shirts and hats. And I ended up on 3 tables, just spread out as far as I could, because it's better than anyone looking down your row and seeing a bunch of empty tables. Then they're just going to walk right by.
Yeah, there's something about that empty space that makes you say, "Oh, it's not worth going down there." Yeah. Unless somebody is down there that you specifically are looking for to find.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I was
it's
at
wild.
a show and I had empty tables, and they had the promoters came by and was like, "Hey, can you fill these up?" And I was like, "I didn't expect to, but I'll try my best."
Yeah,
I like how there's been like a really nice transition though to remember before pre-pandemic, all of a sudden online sales really took up that space of, you know, when you used to make all your money on the road, now you can make it from just your core fan base, knowing that you have new product available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Does anyone have any questions for Evan about Murder City Devil or about Lucha Mysteries? He's saying no. Please don't ask any.
No, you can ask. No, I was more like, what the hell? Someone said my name. What?
Hey, Evan. I have a question for you, Evan. What's the name of your book again?
Murder City Devil.
Wait, say that one more time.
Murder City Devil.
Okay, can you say it in like a Spanish hinted voice, like you were born in Spain, but you grew up in America, but it was in like California, East LA? Can you say the title like that?
Well, like Cheech Marin, like Murder City Devil, like that.
There you go. Well done.
I'm trying to.
I just had to give you a chance to say the title a couple more times.
I was like, what is this, some kind of fucking improv show?
Chuck, I told you, this shit will never be boring from now on.
Right. I knew when I brought you in what was going on.
I like it. Yeah.
Hey, when you guys do cons, do you still try to network and shit out there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's,
I haven't been
that's
to
about the only strength you have right now when you're not making as much money is you're making connections still.
Of course, I'm brand new. I'm only been in it about 3 or 4 months, but yeah, man, I'm trying to talk to everybody that I can. And
hey, let me tell you guys something. The key to this business, I'm not even fucking joking. If you really want to be successful and you really want to achieve a measure of notoriety and professionalism, the key to networking in comics is don't fucking network. just go have fun, meet the people that you meet, be in the moment with those people and have genuine conversations. And whoever you get taken with, because I mean, we talk about it to this day. I knew some of the biggest name in comics, but the people I came up with, like Eric, Ebas, Nei, Mike DeBalfo, like we all stayed together throughout our whole careers because we were all friends. We weren't doing that because we were trying to get ahead or we were trying to get a gig. You just find the people that are creatively passionate about what they do, that reflects what you do for a living, that makes you want to be a better creator. And all that bullshit just falls into place. No joke.
I believe it. I mean, one of the things that I loved about the cons, because I haven't done many, I took my book around and tried to trade it for other comic books because I just love comic books. I was like, man, I don't have money because I sunk all of it into my comic, but if you give me one of yours for one of mine, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. That's man. And we know that we've all been there. Like everybody's been there where you're like, fuck, I did not make as much money as I wanted to at this show, but this dude has this book I really fucking want. Hey, I'm going through the same shit you went through because we all started in the same place. We all were like, please like me. Hey, I put words on a page. Hey, I draw pictures. Please like me. Wait, now like me enough to pay for me. So it's like, you never get past that. So it's cool when creators recognize that and will say, hey, yeah, man, let's swap. That's cool. Because I'm not doing this shit for the kids. I'm doing this shit for the pussy. This is like, and guess what? It's not working. It's not working. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, there's no pussy in comics unless you're a woman, and then you came with your own pussy.
I was doing it for tacos. I was just doing it for a taco or two. That's all.
Spanish fly. Yeah, totally.
Is that a type of taco I don't know about?
Yeah. This one's not for kids. This one's for kind of kids. I guess smart kids. So. That's in terms of the
not for kids, kind of.
This one's PG-13. This one's NC-17 right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of swearing.
Okay. So real quick, I got to ask you guys all something. Are you guys at the stage in your creative endeavors where you're like, hey, I want to create something because this would be really cool? Or Are you at that place where you're like, this is deep and meaningful, and this comes from this horrible place where this happened, and somebody touched me when I was little, so now I got to work this shit out, or some bullshit, you know? Where are you guys at creatively in your career right now? Are you feeding
I
on
got my goddamn books done. I don't know.
Yes. That's no.
I'm 45. We'll probably be dead in 10 years. I don't know. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have fun. I just have fun with everything I do, man. I just do shit and let things happen. That's it. It's all my secret.
You guys are in the right place. You guys are thinking smart about this shit. I always used to romanticize it like, oh God, pain, misery. I must feed off this shit. It's not good for you. It's not fucking good for you.
No, man.
In all seriousness, though, when I get my books back from the printer, that makes it all worth it. Like, just, you know, it's like I thought about this, and now it's like, what's up? And it's like when I get it back, then it's like West Side. So it's like when I get this done, it's nice to have. So. And yeah, and then so now I got the issues 1 is done, so it's an 8-issue series, so 7 more to go, and I pretty much drew up the second issue.
Nice. So
it's all good, Chuck.
Chuck, you made him wait too long. You made him wait too long. You did a whole.
He got work done. I was good. I helped him.
I mean, I did a podcast and then came on here, and it was like, yeah, I've said you finally gave him a shot. Give him his shot earlier next time. Don't just take advantage of him because he's Canadian, Chuck. Because he's nice. Quit doing that shit.
Yeah, give your fellow countrymen a. You know, I'm from Winnipeg. I don't get a lot of opportunities. All right, so
that's mercy. Like, dude, that's mercy. Like, it's mercy. He lives in Winnipeg. I mean, there are worse places to live, but not many. So don't hold it against him. Don't be mean to him anywhere it is.
This poor white boy is just having it so hard. I feel you.
So what, how about Ed? We don't want to.
I was just going to say we didn't get to introduce Ed.
All right, so man. So I'm Ed Davis. I'm the writer of a comic series named Immortal Era. Currently about to launch issue 6 of the series. It's a post-apocalyptic story. Takes place 200 years in the future in a world where no one can die. And it centers on a quest for a group of people who are on a mission to bring death back into the world and save humanity by killing them. And Chuck came in as editor for issue 6. So he's working on me with this one. And then from starting with issue 8, he'll be working full-time editor on the book.
Congrats, Chuck, and congrats.
Thank you. Dude, it's a really good one. I enjoyed it an awful lot. Had a great time. And I mean, it's funny because usually I come in kind of a little earlier on in the series. So this was one where I came in way late, and it's like, hey man, you're gonna have to read 5 issues. And I was like, all right, that's cool. And it was a fun read. Like, I had a good time with it.
No, I actually have a question because I have a broken novel, and it was about a virus that made people live forever.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so it was a similar concept. The cure was to bring death back into the world.
Yeah.
So when you wrote it,
Hello.
I was just wondering if there was like it was just like when the idea of this was this something to do with your own mortality, or was it just like a cool concept that came to your head when they were like, oh shit, this would be a neat idea. It's an inversion of an post-apocalypse, an apocalypse of life, not death. You know what I mean?
With me, it came from a. I was in. Whoa, fuck!
What's going on? Yeah.
Sorry.
So I was doing major in college. So we were reading Gulliver's Travels, and he goes to the island where no one can die, and thinks, okay, paradise on earth, and realizes how horrible the existence actually is when he finds those people tucked away that are hundreds of years old, can barely move, and gets out of there realizing, all right, this sucks. So it was just that. It was a little excerpt we read in one of my English lit classes, and I thought, shoot, I can play with this idea a little bit more and refine it into something else, and then kind of brought in a mythology to it as well. So it's not really a science-based thing. It's got a full mythology. So kind of took a basic idea that I read just, one day, one of the million things I had to read going through college, and this one just kind of struck a chord, and I started building it from there.
That's really cool. No, I love the again. I've dabbled with the concept myself, so I'm already kind of a big fan of it. Do you have an ending in mind, or do you like?
I do. I've written an outline for the entire series, and I know exactly where it's going to end. I mean, it won't be, I'm sure, exactly as I've written it, but I wrote the last 5 pages of the story, so I kind of know where it needs to go, and I constantly modify it, thinking, okay, the ultimate ending is going to be the same, but the road won't be exactly what I thought when I started outlining this story years ago. But I know where it has to go, and I know the fate of all the characters involved.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool concept. I really dig it. I actually, straight up before anything else, Paul, your concept's really cool too. It sounds like a really, really smart book, and good luck with it, man.
Actually, guys, I'm sorry, I gotta bounce. Sorry, Bretton, nice meeting you all. I added you. I will be back at some point. Thank you very much, though, Chuck. I gotta bounce though. So
I was glad to do it, man. Anytime, dude. Anytime.
We'll do it. We'll do this again. All right, guys. Take care. Yeah.
Well, and Ed's book, it surprised me too, the mythology aspect of it, because when you read it, it has that like post-apocalyptic Morlock kind of feel to it, and then all of a sudden you get into this mythological aspect, and you're like, oh shit, that's not what I was expecting at all. It was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to keep people guessing all the way through, because if it becomes too predictable, then nobody's going to want to invest for what I'm hoping to be a 30-issue series when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
When you tell a story, it can be predictable, but the twists along the way have to be neat and interesting.
Yeah,
so,
and nothing's brand new and original, and that's what I tell people. They're like, "Well, I saw this and it's like that," and I said, "Yeah, I stole mine straight from Jonathan Swift." I said, "I only steal from the best, but see what I can bring to it that's a little bit different."
Hey, man, I'm a thief too. I stole from Lewis Carroll. I stole from Greek mythology. I'm stealing from Ray Bradbury, and now I'm stealing from King Arthur and the Knights of the Round. I am a master thief. I just steal everything I can.
So I mean, what's your own? That's the question.
I mean, what's the quote? Great artists steal. Like, what is it? Bad artists imitate, great artists steal. I think
I'm a thieving whore.
That's right.
Thieving whore.
Something like that. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah.
How are you, gentlemen, this evening?
We're good, man. Britton, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, man?
I'm a writer, comics fan. Just general around. I like talking about comics with people. I like talking about storytelling with people. So that's always fun.
Do you have anything going on right now? Do you have any books happening, or?
I've been working on some stuff. I've been working on and off on this comic I've been wanting to do with a friend of mine called The Black Lotus, which is kind of like, what if Batman were like a folk legend, like something like Bloody Mary or Candyman. I was really inspired by the film Candyman. And I thought, because I didn't want to, because I like seeing different takes on superheroes, but I didn't want to just do like a Watchmen clone. I didn't want to do something like The Boys, stuff like that. And I thought, people always describe superheroes as the myths of today, so why not just take that literally?
Yeah. I think my favorite take on the myth of superhero was, and this is an old comic, Hamadi, the Last Boy on Earth. I dug the fact that they turned this whole Superman thing into an actual myth, like the cape and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was one of the coolest things about. Now, Hamadi as a whole is just Jack Kirby having fun, but I thought it was one of the coolest ideas he had was he took the DC universe of the past and he made it all mythology in the future, legend and myth. I thought that was actually one of the smartest things about that book. So it sounds like you're doing something similar-ish.
Yeah, kind of. It's like I hate doing Hollywood pitches, but this kind of works out. It's kind of like if Batman were Candyman, and I kind of wanted to explore, like, okay, what would a superhero be like in this sort of mythic creature of the night like Batman or the Shadow or something like that? And I think the answer would be, it would be terrifying. It would be really scary living in a world where that kind of character would exist.
I can imagine.
Alrighty.
We are getting close, so it's almost midnight. So we've been going for almost 3 hours. So, want to make sure that I kind of get to everybody. Ed, did anybody else have any questions for Ed? And Ed, could you put your? Do you have a link that people can follow?
I do.
To start following the campaign.
Yeah, I can throw it. I'll throw it into the private chat.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'm actually setting up. I have a con this weekend, so I have all my book stuff where you can't see it, but yeah, so I can show a little art since it's all here anyway.
I'm gonna put it up. I think it only ends up. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's show this off.
Yeah, this is my table copies of everything. My new table copy of 3 because someone robbed me last time.
Oh, geez.
Just took my table copy and walked away. It's like, all right, that was strange.
There are some weird people out there.
There are, and you meet them at every con.
Did you watch him like grab it and just walk away, or?
Yeah, and I was talking to this other guy who was actually going to buy some shit, and he's like, "Did that guy just steal your shit?" I'm like, "He did," and it's like, "Am I going to chase down for a table copy that's been held by 8 million people?" It's like, probably not. But yeah, it was a weird thing. And he picked issue 3 of all things. So issue 3 was the one he needed to take home with him. But I'm like, all right, if he wants it that bad, what the hell?
So the weirdest, I remember one con, I had an old lady come up to me. He goes, "Hey, can I get this book?" Yes. So she just took it and walked away. It's like, I should have just oh yeah. She was like 80. I was like,
oh,
that's now, like, what do I do? Like, what do I do in that situation? Because like I'm serious. Like 80-year-old women can get away with anything. Because
knock the bitch down. She's not gonna run.
Yeah.
You can catch her. No problem.
Catching her is not the problem. Catching her wasn't the problem. I was just like, this is awkward. I didn't.
The
really
guilt of catching her, I guess.
Yeah,
yanking it from her hand. No, I had this deep conversation with this 80-year-old woman who was saying, "You know what? I think you're wrong. Immortality is a good idea." She goes, "When you're my age, you don't care how miserable it is. You'll take it." So she's trying to convince me. I'm like, "Well, would you want to be 200?" She goes, "Yep, I'll take that."
Yeah.
So
as someone who's 200, and they'll say, "No, I wish I was dead."
Yeah. And I said, right now it sounds good, but do you want to keep extending and aging? And yeah, she was one of those lingerers, but it's funny because she walked away, then she'd come back and she's like, "All right, I got the argument that's going to win him to my side now." And it was funny because she came back to my table maybe 15 times. I mean, she didn't buy a thing, but it was interesting that she really wanted to convince me that immortality was good. And she said, "I think the people in your story who are trying to end immortality are evil. And anyone who would try to stop a beautiful thing like that is an evil person." So it's like, wow. Huh?
But see, now you got a death cult or a life cult you can have.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
you
fucked
got
up.
that, right? You can use that for fodder. I actually I had something like that in mind. It was like, yeah, life is forever, and this is it, and an unchanging like hell. Is there Tupac Gomez's on the screen?
Not anymore. I kicked that other one.
I don't know what's happening. My computer's not liking me tonight.
I mean, as terrifying as as death can be, I think living forever is more terrifying.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, no, no, you couldn't pay me enough money.
And it's not good vampire living either. It's not like, okay, cool, I'm going to be 20 forever. It's like, no, you're going to keep aging and then you're going to stop moving. It's just going to be misery.
I think it's hell no matter what. I mean, like the idea of a life extension. If I were to live 50 more, let's say I could get 50 more years. Maybe. I might not say no to 50 more years.
Yeah, right.
Right? But 100? I don't know. Like that at that point you're like, you know? So, it's one of those things like life extension, sure, I think we all would love a little more time, but yeah, no, there's a reason we all go, and it's a good one. So.
Yeah. Brian Manel yelled security, but honestly, at that shows, there really isn't security. Like, there's no one there to help you. If someone came by and tried to rub you at gunpoint,
maybe.
I mean, they're probably not getting away, but they're definitely getting your shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think any of the security guards in there would deal with, if they saw a gun, they'd be like, "Dude, you're on your own. Good luck with that."
It depends. It depends on the con. I've seen some. There are some cons I'd be like, maybe there are some crazy guys there on even the security. You're like, maybe, but yeah, not now.
I think the only people who are going to use their guns are the cosplayers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Does anyone have any questions for Ed about his book?
Well, I kind of came late to the party, but what's your book about?
It's about basically a post-apocalyptic world where no one can die. So everybody's been alive for over 200 years, and it's a quest to bring death back into the world.
Huh, actually, sounds like an interesting idea.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's yeah. Sounds like I'd be very curious what your take on that would be. Maybe I will definitely check this out. And I hear a certain Waldo guy is actually the editor. So
It is a solid book. Actually, I was very lucky between Ed and Paul to be attached to some really good books tonight. So yeah.
Yeah. And I'm actually really happy to meet Paul and happy to meet Ed. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's great meeting you.
Yeah.
I was watching most of the night, but I had to get dinner ready for the family. So once dinner was done, I'm like, all right, now I can hop on the live.
I can jump on and tell people all about it.
Yep, because I'm not launching till March 8th, so there's time. Click that follow button. Trying to get to 100. I'm at about 77 last I checked. So this weekend, I figure at the con, I'm going to tell people, have some free stickers. Just click that notify button. So hopefully I can get people at the con to come in that way.
Is this your Twitter? I don't mean to dox you or anything, but
that would be my Twitter. Yes.
Okay, good. I was gonna follow you.
Cool. Thank you. And it's all the social media is all under Finish Line Comics.
Yeah. Well, and then moving on, we'll talk real quick about Josh, because Josh has a show too. If you guys need to be on a show,
I do actually.
I'm always looking for shows.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. My show's called Just Joshing. I have done, as of tonight, 731 episodes. I have interviewed comic creators, novelists. It's a creative show now. I just started interviewing metal bands. My next audio after tonight is actually a Moth. It was super fun to interview them. But I've had this really cool like the show has won awards. It's growing in popularity. We stream on Twitch, but then eventually become an audio, and then eventually heads to my YouTube channel. Trish has been on my show. Chuck has been on my show. So they can tell you what it's like. It's casual conversations. We can talk about literally everything. I did the show, an episode tonight right before I came on here. My guest was an author named Nicole Fanning. We actually talked about her miscarriage, which is like a really big, deep conversation, and it was really, really cool. And then we ended up talking about how the moral codes of life. Like we go all over the place on my show. And we talk storytelling, but we also just talk life. And yeah, I have a lot of comic creators, and then occasionally I do drink and draws, in which I'll actually have artists come on the show and draw with me. I'm not the greatest artist in the world, but I've been drawing, and I've had some really good guests come on my show. I'm starting to dabble in color, but I wanted to actually show a piece because it was an idea for. I don't know if I'm going to do this in color, but so one of the scenes in Lights Out is. I actually use a comic shop called Another Dimension Comics as the background. And Riley Rossmo, who does Harley Quinn right now for DC, actually has a thing of Batman and the Joker. Now, obviously, in my book, I can't say Batman and the Joker, but but the idea of cleaning away the smile, I thought would be a really cool, creepy picture. So like I said, I'm not the greatest artist in the world, but again, this book I don't need to be. It's the idea of someone discovering it. Basically, the idea is instead of having a prison sentence, you get sentenced to 30 days without technology, no phones, no lights, nothing. And you have to do community service to reform. But this is a homage to Fahrenheit 451. And what I did, instead of doing about reading, about drawing. So Montag is very much discovers, like, one of the things he draws, he learns expression, you find joy in a soulless world. Well, except after 30 days, the lights go back on. And if the lights go back on, does he really want to be part of that world anymore? So it's a novella with illustrations from yours truly. It's, like I said, it's my first try at it. I'm not going to pretend I'm the greatest artist in the world, but I'm really excited about it. It's probably going to be coming out in June. So it's a novella, not a comic, but it's definitely, like, it's my 7th book release. It'll be fun. So
it was a pleasure to burn.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
It's badass, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just friended you, and I'll hit you up because I'm looking for as many ways to promote this book as possible when it comes time.
Absolutely. And by the way, Paul Britton, you're more than welcome to, like, come on the show as well if you guys want to do it.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, no, and anybody that was on here earlier, dude, I talked to everybody. My probably most famous guest on the show was Kelly Armstrong, but I've talked to people like Spider Robinson. I've talked to, I hate to break this to you, Mr. Chuck, but yeah.
I'm not the most popular guy who came on your show.
Oh, no. Actually, it's funny. It's funny. Here's my most popular episode recently was author Madeline Dale. And here's the thing about that show. Remember how Raiden has having his kids holding him hostage? Her 3-year-old came on the show and held the show hostage. So it's humbling. It was awesome. But if I had to pick 2 conversations that's this year so far I've had that I really loved, Stone Abdullah. What an amazing dude that guy is. He is an
he was on earlier.
Yeah, no, Stone is legitimately he's an amazing dude. And if you listen to this, you probably will blush a little bit, but he's incredible. The other one I really enjoyed was Natalie Dime, because Natalie came from, like, I think it was the Czech Republic. I could be wrong. And she talked about a story how she created a song that's Serbian, got it made in the US. Incredible story. And we talked about fear a lot in that one. So those are my favorite conversations so far this year. But again, I interview everybody. You guys are more than welcome to come on my show. The Twitch channel is twitch.tv/JustJoshingPodcast, right? Just look up my name. You will find me. I am everywhere. I'm kind of like a virus. I'm if Chuck's the Where's Waldo of comics, I'm probably the Where's Waldo of podcasting. And also at the same token, I actually also just said I just got my first comic editing gig, which is kind of cool. And so I got my first comic editing gig. Awesome. Yeah. So if anyone's out there wants me to help edit their work, I am more than happy to do it. And Trish, and also, yes, Trish mentions this on there. I had a conversation with Trish for about an hour about why Brock Lesnar is booked the way he is, which is like, yeah. We had a fun one. Mike, by the way, is a passionate dude when he talks. Just so you know.
You guys talked for it's funny because I dropped my daughter off at a friend's house and I saw that interview came up, and so I was like, I don't have the hour and a half or almost 2 hours, I think it was. So I started kind of flipping through, and I'm like, all right, when are they going to mention me? When are they going to mention me? And I was like, I'm flipping through, and then I'm like, and then I hear like Brock Lesnar, Hulk Hogan, Brock Lesnar. And I was like, I've jumped like 45 minutes. I'm like, motherfuckers are still talking about wrestling. Are you kidding me right now?
That conversation was awesome because we started at Convoys in Canada, right? I got the Convoys in Canada, the Confederate flag, the bird, and then for an hour we talked about Brock Lesnar, Hulk Hogan, X-Pac. We just went there. We mentioned Chuck. Awesome. I think around the 2-hour mark actually is when Chuck finally. That's where we went. Like, it took about 2 hours before we got to. We finally got out of wrestling. We went back to their book, and when we got there, we mentioned, and that's when you came up. And
that's funny.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
I knew I'd get a quick mention, and I was like, I just like to hear and see, because I know that like there's certain guys, especially like Andrew Davis. I don't know if you've had him on a show or if you've ever talked to him. Yeah, good dude, but he loves anytime he has somebody, a client who has worked with me. He's like, oh, Chuck's on your book, and he'll like rip me. So I was like, all right, let's hear the shit talk. Like, I love to hear that. So it's not like me like necessarily Googling myself. I just thought, okay, let's hear the shit they have to
I'm gonna
say.
be very nice to Chuck for a minute here. Here's the thing about Chuck. He's actually a great writer.
Oh.
No, I'm gonna be nice. I actually got his book Essence House. It's a cool book. Him and Eric killed it. If anything, I'm actually a little mad at Chuck because he doesn't write more than he does because he should.
Well, no, thank you for that. And actually, this year is going to be, for me anyways, a fairly writing-heavy year. We got Belial 3 coming out. We've got Cthulhu Invades Oz coming next month. I have 2 stories in that. I have Cthulhu Invades Wonderland.
Yeah.
I have.
I got so stunk of work. If Travis is here, yeah, dude. If you want me to still send that thing, I will. I'm just been hammered so much with work the last little bit. So,
I got 2 stories in that one. I got just a bunch of shorts this year, and then also the 4th season of Chronicles of the Essence Guard is coming. So that's the second half of the second book. So yeah, we got things going on, and then of course a fuck ton of editing work. We've got, we've got Cryptic Haze out. We've got Immortal Era 6 coming out. We've got oh my gosh, what's the other one that's happening? We've got Cat Dad and Supermom on Kickstarter right now. Like, there's just so many books happening. So yeah, it's a busy year, man.
Yeah, no, that's good. Like I said, I just want you to write more because you're good at it, and you need to. Yeah. Because you're good at it and you should. And like I said, for me, this is the first of 3 books I'm planning to release this year. Another Alice book. I do an Alice in Wonderland is Greek mythology poetry series, which is kind of fun. Alice's Pandora. I'm really high up into this. I get to work with Anvu on a novel this year. She's doing the covers and some art inside. It's my Parker novel with a Russian fairy tale meets Camelot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That does sound fun.
Yeah. Oh no. And I'm thrilled because on someone I've wanted to work with so my first drink and draw episode was with On. And here's the thing. She taught me some of the most valuable lessons of art in that episode. I remember most of them. So yeah, I'm really honored to look at it. So anyways, I don't want to take too much of everybody's time here because I know Chuck, you've been on for 3 freaking hours.
Yeah.
So you want to call it. So yeah, no, thanks for having me. And everybody out there, support Chuck and support everybody here.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what? Let's wind this down. Why don't everybody will go around the room. Everyone can kind of real quick talk about what they got going on, where you can, and where everybody can find you. So Josh, real quick, where can everybody find you, and what can they grab from you right now?
Okay, you can find me on you can Hi, Mike. Okay, you can find me on basically look up Just Joshing Podcast. I am on every platform. You can listen there. Current audio releases episode 723. I Drink and Draw with Specs Thompson. It literally is going to drop as soon as I'm out of here. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Just Joshing Podcast. Look up Jay Pentolaresco on everything. You will find me. I'm on Amazon exclusively. That's where most of my books can be bought. Go buy them there. And I think that's everything important. I got lots of other places, but that's too much like fucking work. So, but Twitch, any audio platform you guys enjoy, and or my web stuff.
Awesome, Ed.
All right, hard act to follow right there. So right now you can get all of my stuff at finishlinecomics.com. I have a web store where you can buy everything. March 8th, I launch issue 6 of Immortal Era. This will wrap up the first story arc. So shortly after that, we'll be putting together a trade. We're actually working at the same time to put the trade together. So right after 6 comes out, there will be a trade with some extra pages and things like that to read. And then the series is just going to keep plowing forward. I'm also working on a book with Luke Stone. So now he's been posting things up with that. So I'm writing a series with him. I'm working as the writer. He created the concept. So that's my first writing that'll be published that's not named Immortal Era. So it's nice to get my name onto something else because when you're writing a series like this one, it kind of consumes your brain. So it's nice to kind of have something else that's someone else's baby, but I can still help shape it and make it good. And then all under Finish Line Comics. So you can get Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My Twitter's terrible, so I can, if you follow it, I apologize in advance because it's the worst.
Britton?
I'm Britton. You can find me. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube. Some Okie Dude. I also run a podcast that I post up every Monday called Brit and Jake Go to the Movies, where a friend of mine, Jacob, and I talk about films. So yeah.
I'm Paul Gomez. You can find me on Shadowcats or Comic Crusaders. Think Indie. I'm co-hosting both of those shows, and Kickstarter Cryptic Haze right now. It's got about 20 days, and we're looking for about $400 more to meet goal. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's Paul Gomez 790, and anywhere my books are in stores.
And I mean, I'm Chuck. You guys obviously know where to track me down because you're here. So just go check out all these amazing things we talked about. Probably about 20 or so different books tonight. So go check them out. I think you guys will have a blast. If just this sample of books and comics and stuff are checked out, then you'll know that the future of indie is grand. So please go check it out. Support. Much love. As always, my name is Chuck, and I give a fuck. Take care, everybody. Peace out.
Take care.